actually live now. So, hi peeps, Carrie Sophia here. This is Dungeons and Dragons for beginners. We are playing Misty Fortunes and Absent Hearts, and we have some beginners and we have some mentors playing, and we are going to learn all about the beginning of Dungeons and Dragons and how to play. So, my players here are all ringers. They have gone out and explored things and done things with character sheets and done other things like that, but we're actually going to cover all of that. There is no knowledge required in advance. Okay, so we are going to start here. And I'm going to be up and down letting the cat in and out all night, aren't I? Okay, so we're going to start here and what Dungeons and Dragons actually is. And so Dungeons and Dragons is a tabletop role playing game. And what that means is we are going to tell a story together. We're here to to improvise a story on the fly. And D&D is a rule set that gives us some support in doing that, gives us some common language to use, gives us some mechanics to kind of help frame it. But at the end of the day, all we're doing is telling a story together. I am the dungeon master, which means each of you is playing your character, and I play everything else in the world around you. And that's all it is. And even though we are using a pre-written adventure, we're using um, Wizards of the Coast Adventures League Season 4 for this. Every time every time a party plays, the session is unique to that party. Even if some hundreds, thousands of parties have played these adventures, but every single time it is different and it is unique to the party because this is a story that we are telling together. So, we're going to start. We're not even going to think we're not going to think mechanics yet. We are going to start. I'm going to take you into a world that is sort of a pseudo medieval world. So there are, technology level has horses and carts and things are done manually, and there are castles and there might be some feudalism, there might be ideas of that. It's roughly like medieval Europe with the addition of magic. And this conforms to one of the there's a number of fiction genres out there, swords and sorcery, some of the basic fantasy genres. It was heavily inspired by Tolkien, of course, The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings and that stuff. It was but it was also heavily influenced by European folklore and mythology. So we have things like hags, and we have things like werewolves, and we have things like vampires and zombies, and kind of classic creatures like that. So we're going to go into I'm actually going to take you to another page so that you should now be seeing a map.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yes.
where
Yep.
we are playing is in it is in a published called the Forgotten Realms in the D&D land, and we are in the Moonsea area. And this area is kind of backwater. The roads here is more or less well established. but the roads on the south side of the Moon Sea are a lot. It's a lot more civilized there. Here, it's a lot more of a track going through the wilderness, and we've got bandits, and we've got wild creatures, and it's a dangerous sort of place to go through. Merchants' caravans going through um, will typically have guards with them to try and protect them and help them get through. And the city of Flan, which is kind of in the center of your screen there, um, this poor city has really had it rough. I mean, it was kind of going downhill for a while, and then a couple of years ago, there was a dragon cult that was infiltrating it and trying to take it over. And in fact, a green dragon came in and kind of conquered the place, and it was a bloody mess. And we're currently at the point where the city leaders are trying to take it back from this horrible dragon. But in the meantime, it's not well governed, and the whole area is just in a bad way. And what little civil governance we might have in the city is not well regarded. It doesn't really have any power because the power is with the dragon, and the dragon's in the main castle in the city. And so, what little there's rampant corruption. The Welcomers Guild, which is the actual thieves guild in the town, they're probably as close to being the ruling group as any of the factions, as they say, which are various power groups throughout the continent that have interest here. And but so here the Lord's Alliance is theoretically, or at least they think they want to be in charge of this area, but it's corrupt, it's ineffective, it's not really there. I mean, and as a result, as a natural consequence of this, criminal activity is way up. And as I said, the Thieves Guild is one of the main powerhouses in town. But we have got bandits in the around the area. We have got all sorts of monsters and wild animals. Nothing is being kept nice and tidy, and in feudal times the king or the lord is expected to keep the roads safe, and then none of that's happening around here. And not only are there monsters and bandits and so forth, but they've actually been attacking people, not just the caravans. They've been attacking the farmers. They've been attacking townspeople. It's pretty dangerous to go out there. But lately, just lately, in the area just north of the city and all, there's this people have been disappearing. Even adventurers have been disappearing, not just people and cattle and things like that. And it's starting to feel different. It's starting to feel like there might be something around dark magic at work here. This is not just the normal corruption and banditry and so forth that is taking effect. So it's kind of a dangerous place at the moment. And so, what I've asked you to do in advance is to kind of think about what kind of a character, what kind of a person do you want to be in this kind of an environment. And so I'm going to go around and kind of ask folks, what kind of a person are you in this? And where some of you have gone ahead and made character sheets and have ideas of class and things like that, feel free to use those words. If you haven't, because there's no requirement to, just use English to describe what kind of a person do you want to be in a story like this. And I'm going to start with Amradorn, please,
Okay.
because I know you've got a history that actually involves fun. So,
Yep. I am Edric Stonefist, born and raised in the city of Fland. Family of dwarven merchants. I'm a gambler, sort of. Bit of a rogue, thief. I've worked around with some of the street kids in town, and At first we were just kind of like looking for marks and trying to pick games and win, money to support ourselves. And I've seen how some of these kids kind of get used, and so I've been kind of changing my ways a bit, trying to help them provide them food and shelter and get them off the street.
And as you're so what are you doing on this fine day, by which I mean to say it's not quite as bleak as usual in Flan?
Well, I'm actually probably sitting in a tavern playing a game of cards with a group of people that I'm fleecing.
Excellent. So you're probably at the Laughing Goblin Inn, which is a very fine establishment down in the docks area. Um, yeah, which is to say that it's a very seedy establishment and is perfect for having only the most gullible, or well, you can tell who are the sharks and who are the prey in here. So, so as you're playing and you are in here, a conversation at a couple tables down has kind of caught your ear. And because it has started talking about, oh, I don't know how we're gonna manage with this. I they just went out on a hunting trip, and I know they're very careful, and I I don't know where they might have gone or what might have happened to them. And as you listen a little further, continuing your game, um, in fact, there's one hand that you intended to win that you were distracted enough that you actually let your mark win, and your mark is feeling very pleased with herself.
Okay. Um, did I overhear a name for these people that are missing this hunting party, or possibly hear about where they went missing?
You heard that they went missing out past the crossings in, just on the east part of the road, that they were going to head up into the Vanishing Hills from there. And the stories that they've been hearing have just really creeped them out, and they aren't sure but what. You have not heard a name yet, but it's like you're not sure they're ever coming back. It's just, it feels wrong. It feels, I've got such a bad feeling about this.
Okay. I will probably don't really want to, but I think I will probably deal myself out of that stand and
Okay.
get up from the table and head over to the folks who are concerned about their missing friends.
As you approach their table, they kind of look up with some apprehension. It's like, hello?
Hello.
Can we help
Uh,
you?
I the name's Edric. A bit of an adventurer, and I hear you're missing some friends. Is there any way I can help?
Um, kind of looks you up and down, and what do you look like?
Let me see.
I can do your token here if you want to use your token, but talk about your general size and shape. I lost roll 20.
Yeah.
Aha!
Um.
I found roll
So
20.
he's got kind of large, round eyes. Short hair, kind of well groomed, up in a kind of a ponytail. Kind of rough and weathered skin. He's in his early 60s for a dwarf, which isn't too bad. Kind of kind of medium build.
And so
Um,
you're seeing here a couple of um they could be human, but they look a little scruffy, so it's hard to tell. They could also be maybe a half elf or something like that. It's a little hard to tell. And so they look up and down. How are you attired? What are you carrying?
Well, I wear some fine clothes, but I do keep my armor kind of. I'm wearing leather armor
So,
over my clothes.
so you look a little rough, a little bit of a capable sort. And these two people that you're in front, that you're standing with, they're very clearly commoners. And they said, "Well, maybe you can, if you're an adventurer. We've got um, we have a couple of silly friends that went hunting, and we told them not to because it's just um, we've been hearing some bad things, and I have a bad feeling about it. They're a couple days overdue, and I just don't know. They went out by the crossing inn, you know, the crossing inn just a little ways east of town.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Um, if you could go and ask, and the woman across the road says, well, you know, they're probably just shacked up at the inn and drinking their heads off, and they might not have even gone at all, and they've just forgotten to come back. It's like, I don't know. I've got one of my feelings, though. I don't really know about that.
Okay. Well, I've been in town for, my family is from here, so should be able to see if I can find out if they're at the inn at least, and go from there. Maybe find some friends to help me along the way
Thank
if
you.
we.
Thank you. And you're going to head off that direction?
Yeah, I will gather up my stuff and head out of the Laughing Goblin, and head out into the streets.
Okay. Excellent. So we are going to move, and I just realized that I forgot to upload. So this is, it is unusual to start with story right away. Usually, the most common thing to do right away is to start with a session zero, which sets some of the boundaries. And for example, it also allows us to do some setup. And I forgot to get Enigma's character token, which he provided me as character image. I forgot to get that set up, so I'm going to do that right now. But while I'm doing that, um, uh, I'm going to talk a little bit about what a session zero is about. And a session zero is where you set some of the logistics. You talk about if you're going to run a multi-session campaign, we talk about, when are we going to do it? We're going to gather at Sundays at this time. I know it's Monday for Tom. Um, and we're going to use our roll 20 is going to be our tabletop of choice. Oh, I forgot to update the default token. This is what I get for um, multitasking. Okay. Where am I? I'm back on the flan map. Okay. And so some of the things are this campaign is going to deal with gothic horror. So there are going to be zombies and werewolves. There's going to be mists and darkness and mental health issues. And which reminds me, I think I put a content warning for stream. Let me do that. Yes, I did. Good for me. And so there's going to be things that might be disturbing. And in a session zero, we can talk about what is acceptable and what is not. Because we don't want people, especially, we don't want the players to be uncomfortable at my table. And for example, Deku let me know up front that zombie babies, children, harm to children like that is strictly out. So or if it is, it's going to happen off camera. It isn't. We're not going to go into detail. And I think there's couple of places where we have children, but I'm going to keep that in mind. So if it comes to things like body horror, aberrations, one of my favorites is spiders because I am deathly arachnophobic. Um, but I'm able to tolerate non-realistic images on the screen if it, don't make it real big and don't go into gory detail about it. So there's an opportunity now to discuss things that you do not want. Please also feel free to direct message me if you don't want to do this. Session zeros are not normally streamed or recorded, so it's normally a private space where it's um, easy to talk about things like that. Um, and so some of this can be done through direct messages in Discord with me, and some of it can be done here if you are comfortable doing so. Also, if we get into themes, because sometimes we don't know what's going to be too much for us. And it's kind of like when we get into themes, it's like, whoa, 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 time out. I am not comfortable with that. And I want people to be comfortable saying that I'm not, that's going too far for me. It's like, okay, and tell me what part is going too far for you so that I can then scale it back and redo um, some things. Because ultimately, this is a story between us. And so we don't want to go into territory that's not going to be fun for us. Do we have any known? These are also called lines and veils, where lines are, it's like, don't go over that at all. It's crossing over that line and, I'm done, I'm out of here. Or a veil is keep it behind a veil so I don't really have to see it and then I'm okay. Does anyone have any known lines or veils that they would like to say now? Okay,
Um,
go ahead.
I've already said mine, so thank you very much for
Hmm.
keeping that in mind.
And I do have, if you look, so we're actually going to do a little Roll20 thing here. The right-hand panel at the top, there is one of the icons is a little newspaper. And if you hover over it, it says journal. And if you go in the journal, you can see a handout called Lines and Veils. And so as I have additional ones, I will also put them here. Can everybody see, if you click on Lines and Veils, can you click and see the no zombie babies,
Yes, I
children,
see
or
that.
harm to
Thank you.
children?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So while we're here in the journal, there's several things that you can see. You can see the starting location information, which talks about the city of Flon. Oh, and links to a couple of maps that are no longer here. I need to update that. The content warnings that give some descriptions about the kinds of things that are featured in Misty Fortunes and Absent Hearts. I did also put some of the basic monster types that show up in this in case people have issues with particular ones, and that's where Deku, saw about the undead creatures such as skeletons and zombies, and it's like, okay, that's okay, but not children. Vampires, werewolves, hags, devils and demons, aberrations. So that information is available to you there anytime, and that is the same information that I have posted in the starting information thread in Discord as well. So with that, let's now go to Amy.
Hello.
And player characters, you should see in there, you should see two characters under player characters. You should see one of yourself with your Discord icon, and you should see one that has your character with the character that you have, the character art that you have given to me. And for all except for Adric, the character art has been done by Hero Forge. Dirty 20 Gaming, which I know we're streaming on Cara Sophia here, but we are affiliated with Dirty 20 Gaming. And Dirty 20 Gaming has a... We're not partnered. We're not... Oh, we'll see, we're not sponsored by them, but we are... I don't remember what the relationship, I need to ask Pat. With Hero Forge. And the other character art for Adric, it comes from D&D Beyond. Okay, so Amy, tell us a little bit about your character. Where are you around Flan? The whole
Uh,
Flan area. You don't have to be in the city.
she is from the city, or at least is lives and works in the city. She's a city guard, but with the whole corruption and unstableness of it, she's not really on the up and up, and in fact has the criminal background, and so she's works more with the thieves guild than anyone else probably, and she was probably in that tavern as well, the Lucky Goblin, playing cards.
Yeah, although you probably were not one of the marks being fleeced by Adric.
No, she has proficiency in playing cards.
Yeah, so Adric, when you're thinking about going out and you look around the inn and glance over, say your character's name for me. Sigil?
I think it's Siegel.
Sigil. Okay. You see Sigil, who you are familiar with as someone that might be good to have around.
Sure. Well, before I step outside of the tavern, I'll kind of nod in her direction and kind of suggest non-verbally that we meet outside.
Uh, Given she probably overheard that conversation as well, she'll roll her eyes and finish out the hand and follow him out.
Okay. And so the two of you are outside. It's not quite as dreary a day as normal in Flun. It hasn't been raining too much today. And the streets are about the normal sort of busyness going by, but not with a bit of a subdued feel as has become normal for Flan since the dragon took over.
And didn't really describe her, but she's an amethyst dragonborn, purple scales, purple horns, and she's wearing a long coat over chainmail armor. It's basically a guard uniform for her.
And Adric, what do you tell her?
So once we get outside, I'll look over and say, "Well, you probably overheard my conversation. Yeah, I'm kind of a sucker for lost causes. I'm thinking we
Yep.
should probably try to help them." Hey, look, you can get in your good deed for the week for the forces.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll help the guild out if their marks aren't disappearing on them.
Okay. And the two of you can start heading out.
Yep.
So I'm going to briefly take us back to the starting page, and we're going to talk a little bit more about mechanics in Roll20. So on this page, you can see your token for your Discord character. You should be able to click and drag and move your token around. So if you want to please do that, make sure everybody can do theirs. Amy, you haven't moved your token yet.
Uh,
Oh, you're on
Sec,
your phone. Right. You're on your phone where
I
your
I
computer's
I
not
actually
moving.
did switch back.
Yeah. You're an old hand at
It
this, so
might
yeah.
I've played.
Oh, there we go. So one of the things that we will do is even though this is largely theater of the mind, it is sometimes useful to have down where things are relative to each other and to enable. Let me grab a. Here we go. Let me grab an elk token. And so that if we're having some sort of a combat, it's nice to know where things are in relation to each other. And so you can have things, tokens on down on it, so you can kind of see where they are. Um, on the left-hand side of your screen, there's a toolbar. There's a tool that will enable you to measure distances. So if you know how close you are to things, or if you have a weapon that has a range, for example, like a bow, you'll know are they, or if you have a spell that has a range, you'll know are they in range. And you can mark it up. And in the old days, it was lots of fun. We had these big vinyl mats that would have, some either squares or hexes on it, and we would use. Um, my friends and I, we mostly used chess pieces, game pieces from other games, coins, spare dice, whatever we had around, if we needed something big. And periodically, a giant cat would come wandering through and would disrupt the entire scene, um, as cats do. Um, yeah. So that's some of the mechanics here. Other things you can do, you can draw, and there is a little die. So near the bottom is a little die that you can use to roll dice. Like if you click on that, it'll bring up the roller, and you can say I want to roll a d8, and it will show up then in the um, chat window. So let's go ahead and attempt rolling a die. You can also roll die if you want to by doing here. Let me put it. I'll put a period in front of it so it won't run it. /r d20 plus 2, and
That's
then if you
me.
roll d20 plus 2, it will roll it, and you can see it has the roll. And where Sigil rolled something, you can see there. If you hover over it, you can see what was rolled. And Adric is playing with a character sheet. Okay. So, among our back to the city of Fawn here. Among our newbies, who would like to go next? Does anybody want to go next?
Well, I think my character's starting position would fit into the story by now.
Excellent. Okay, let me get yours down here. Go ahead and tell us about your character, Tom.
Well, my character Myrick just so happens to be a very self-content homeless man. He's a human, he's a monk, but he's not a typical monk in the praying and such. He's more of a accidentally lucky monk. And since he's homeless, he of course would spend his time outside of establishments such as the bar, the Laughing Goblin,
Uh-huh.
looking for food and such left out by yesterday's meals.
And so you're there. It's a normal afternoon, and out come a dwarf and a dragonborn, and you've heard their conversation. And one of them says, I'm a sucker for lost causes."
Well, as this heroic, no, as this ambitious guy he is, he walks up to them and seeks adventure. Maybe saying something like, well, you guys look like you could use some help. If there's gold in it for me, I'm willing to tag along.
Well, I'm not sure what's in it yet, but could always use an extra hand. How about you,
Well,
Siglu? Do you feel like we could use some help?
Yeah, some cannon fodder would be good for this. Or goblin fodder.
I'm not familiar with cannons, but I like the idea. I'm in.
Sounds good.
Okay. Very good. All right. So, Enigma or Deku? Would either of you like to introduce your characters?
Mm, sure. I don't know how to weave him in, but
Don't worry about it. You don't need to do that. That's what we have mentors for, is to figure that out. Tell us about your
mm,
character.
well, Merlin Belfry is a Kenku, standing about 5 foot 3 inches tall, or 160 centimeters for metric. Um, he has the countenance of a magpie, although the majority of his feathers are covered by chainmail armor. Um, Most notable is the eye emblazoned on his left gauntlet, marking him as a follower of Helm, the god of watchmen and protectors.
And well known to
So,
dwarves.
yeah. So he would have. I'm sure his order assigned him to Flan, saying, um, he's basically here to deal with the monster problem on the outskirts of town.
Okay.
So, um,
I'm
I'm
actually.
sure he would suspect that
Uh huh.
the missing people monsters are contributing to that.
Yeah. I'm actually going to have you in the common room at the Crossing Inn already, which this little icon over here on the map. Did I move you guys back over to the map? Yes, I did. So this little icon right here on the map is the Crossing Inn. We'll be meeting up. And that one I'll have you in the common room there, and so you will be the first to get some of the rumors as we get a little bit closer.
Rumors. What
Yeah,
kind of
you'll
rumors?
hear what's going on as they come to gather information. So, Enigma, uh,
Y-
tell me about your character, which I know you haven't created an official character sheet yet, and this cat is driving me crazy. Um, and that is perfectly fine. You've heard some of the stories about the area. You've heard some of the stories about the other characters. What kind of a person would you like to be in the area of Flan? And you've given us an image. So tell me about what kind of a person you want to be here.
his name's gonna be Enigma Blaze. Um, he is a dark elf, so he stands about 6'3". Um, Basically, he's
Very.
I don't know where to go from this.
That's okay. What kind of a person? Tell me a little bit about your personality.
He's been keeping to himself a lot.
Okay. Are you in the city or in the wilderness around the city?
I would say, with him being a warlock, probably in the outskirts, in the wilderness.
Okay. And what's some of your Oh God, good cat fur and clawed me too. So what kinds of things catch your interest?
Mm, Probably power.
Power. Okay. So you are being drawn to the area. You know that there's something going on north of the Crossing Inn up towards the Vanishing Hills. And you can smell there's magic going on, and there's got to be something interesting there. So I'm also going to have you at the Crossing Inn. Um, might need to take a short break for me to get a bandage. But anyways, um, so we're also going to have you at a nice, comfortable. You have been traveling through. You've heard about this. You've heard some of the rumors. Void Kitty is cute. Yeah. Um, you've heard some of the rumors that there's something in the mist. There's something in the wind. There's something going on. And so you are at the crossing in, listening very carefully to the rumors and seeing, you are curious and want to go and see.
Yeah.
Okay, I do have one question for you. What
Mm.
kind of, when you envision magic, what kind of magic do you envision? You don't have to know. We'll translate it to D&D terms for you. You don't need to worry about that. Just if you if any of the sword and sorcery types things or any of the sort of stuff, when you think of magic, what do you think of? Do you think of like creating fire? Do you think of things like moving earth? Do you think of things like creating illusions? What do you think of things like controlling people's minds? What kind of magic do you think of?
I would say fire and summoning.
Okay. Okay. So we shall have you um, at the crossing inn. We are going to take the 3 folks who are in the city of Flan, and I am going to need to take a very short break. Just, well, let me see. Maybe the bleeding will stop here. The
You
kitty
get it
cat was a little
right in the
careless with.
backseat.
Yeah, the kitty cat was a little careless with his claws. Um,
Make sure to wash that real good.
Yeah, no, I know. I know. So we are actually going to take about a 5-minute break while I go tend to this and see what it is the cat really, really wants me to do, which is probably to escort him to his food dish. People's
Okay.
pets. Okay, so I'm going to put the stream on the break. Okay. So thanks to Amadorn. Amadorn got me onto using ChatGPT for doing random stuff, and it is like super helpful.
I could imagine.
Yeah, because it's just it doesn't matter what we need right now. We just need something in there to work from. Mage armor. And this is a wonderful use of, this is something that it actually does very well. Burning hands and summoning things. Have we got any summoning things here? Summoning stuff tends to be later. All right. All right. So we have some starting information there for you. Okay. So we now have our 3 folks from Flan. We have, who do we have coming from Flan? We have, where I can see character names. We have Adric and Sigil and Mirek coming from Flan. And the crossing in is not too far. As you can see, it's not too far on the map. It's not too far from Flan, and head out there. It's about a good, half day travel, about where you would want a crossing. And it's at a bridge over a nice little river. And cool, roll 20s hanging on me. Just ducky. And as you come up, one of the things you've noticed as you travel, because the 3 of you are locals, and the further you've gotten out from the city, the colder. It is unseasonably cold. It is. Sure, I've got this here. Did you create? Did not finish creating. Okay. It is unseasonably cold. It's gotten damp. It's gray with mist. It is. There's just a chill, and you can almost feel it creeping along your skin, in ways that seem unpleasant. And
Kind of cold that gets under your skin.
the kind of cold that gets under your skin, and it feels almost like a clammy sort of there. It's just.
It doesn't feel natural.
It doesn't feel natural. And you can see it in the few other travelers you've seen along the road. You can see it there too, where they're just not. They seem unsettled as well. And you come up to the crossing inn, and as you step in the doorway of the crossing inn, the warmth is very welcome at first. As you get into the warmth, and you step into the inn, and at first it seems you can hear the murmur of voices and so forth, and it sounds like a normal inn. But as you get in there, the murmur of voices is not quite normal. There's a lot more concern and angst. And instead of warm smiles and relaxed patrons, people are turning and looking at as the group of you come in with with suspicious glares, and yeah. Over in the corner there'll be each of the other 2 of you, um, character names again. Real estate is very important. With real estate is. So Enigma Blaze and Merlin, you're both over, in there, and you've been listening here for some time as people have talked. Most of the people, most of the locals are gathered around a large table. And not only are they gathered around, and not only is the table full, they've pulled more chairs over, and it's really kind of crowded. It's almost like, the locals are very unsettled. And the barkeep has been friendly and has brought you your orders. He's been a little more somber than you would normally expect a barkeep to be. And so some of the things that you've been hearing words like filthy gur and cursed nomads and larcenous and murderous are things that you've been kind of hearing. And they seem to think that there has been someone specific in the area that has been engaging in banditry. Okay, and so then as the other three of you come into this room, this is kind of the scene before you, and the tavern keep is a male human who comes up, and he has kind of a forced smile as he sort of wipes his hands down on his apron and says, "Ah, hello, yes, what can I get for you? Food, drinks, bed in the
Um,
common room upstairs?"
is
Some
this
tea.
to the
This is
three
to
coming in?
the new three that are coming in at the moment. Yes.
Edric will pipe up and say that he wants an ale and a table.
Perfect, perfect. Right. There's lots of tables free. You might have a little. I'll find you find you some chairs. The chairs have been kind of pulled over here, but yeah. Any place around. Any place around. I'll bring you. How about the two of you? Gestures to Sigil
Uh,
and Mirek. Mm-hmm.
uh, Sybil just order a mug of ale and look for a seat near the fire.
Okay.
And I'll have whatever Adric is having.
Okay.
But put it on his tab.
Perfect. I shall get that right for you. Just have a seat anywhere, and I'll bring that to you very shortly. So the two of you who've
Thank
been here for a while, some of the things you've kind of gathered listening, how much have you been paying attention to what the people have been saying that have been gathered at the main table?
I think Merlin would be paying attention because something is not right here, and he's supposed. His training is to protect people,
Mm-hmm.
so he needs to know what to protect people from. Because not all monsters have fur and fangs.
This is true. True. How about Enigma Blaze? What is Enigma Blaze? Or are you just um, having some food and so forth before you head north to the Vanishing Hills?
So I was just having some food, listening in a little bit here and there.
Okay. So, listening in then, Merlin, what you have heard is that a nomad family, um, this is going to date the adventure a little bit. I should put racism into the content warning. Um, so, traveling nomad families tend to be brightly colored, entertainers somewhat, um, have a reputation for potentially being thievery. People are suspicious of them more because they're outsiders than because of anything that the Gur actually do. And so what you've gathered is that a family has actually been here for outside camping nearby for almost a 10-day. And they had been pretty well received as they'd provided some entertainment and earned themselves some coins. But something happened last night. Something happened yesterday. And people are really grumbling very suddenly about, we thought they were all right, but it turns out they just are thieves. And they've taken things and are disappearing, and who knows what is going on. And so you've been hearing some of the information about that. Do you wish to inquire about that before as the other three are coming in, or what would you like to do?
I think Merlin would like some more information about this.
Okay. So do you get up and approach the large table?
Yes.
All right.
He
So go ahead.
he would approach casually, but with his left gauntlet in plain view to sort of announce without announcing that he's a follower of Helm, which I would hope would mean something to at least some of the people here. And he would ask,
Helm would have a pretty good reputation in the area, yes. Would be known as a stalwart god, and the followers of that are likely to be reputable, yes.
yeah, so he would walk up and say, "Excuse me, but would you please explain what this incident was involving this nomad family?"
I'll tell you what it is. And this is about where Adric and all have come in, and Merrick and Sigil have come in. So as you come in, you see this Kenku standing at the main common table there, and you've been directed to choose any place over along the side. And this Kenku is asking them, okay, so what's going on? And one of the women is angrily saying that well, the maid's just over there who's been staying here for a while. Last night, the young'un in that family drugged her and stole her wand, and they've taken it away. And I mean, that's just they've been here just fine for all this time, and I don't know what started the thieving. And another one uh, and the cook's assistant here in this very inn was cursed last night by one of the older ones as they stole some of the herbs and stuff from the kitchen. And a merchant pipes up and says, and a box of my gems has been taken too, and I've been asking the mage here to help me locate it and all. It's just all of it. There's just a bunch of thefts that have all happened just in the last uh, uh, less than 24 hours. And so this clamoring is going on in front of you. And what do you do?
Um, Above game, I'm trying to take notes and I'm kind of slow at it. So,
It will be, I
um,
think it's going to be on my YouTube channel after the fact, so you will also, feel free to take whatever time you want to take notes. There will also be a video available to you
okay.
for
So
reference.
basically, one of the
And if you
younger,
forget things and there's continuity issues, who cares, as long as we're having fun.
okay, but for right now, one of the younger nomads is being accused of drugging a mage and stealing a wand. Some herbs and spices have been stolen from the inn's kitchen,
And
and
yeah, actually, here. This will have more than
and
you've heard so far, but this will tell you what things you don't need to take notes on.
okay.
So
So the
and
three
they're
things.
very angry, talking about these thefts of things that have happened. And another one pipes up, and it's like, and we, because of all these other thefts going on, we were kind of suspicious, and we checked down in the storage cache where we've got some weapons and stuff, and a bunch of those have been stolen too, and we're sure it's that same family. Okay, so Adric, Sigil, and Merrick, you guys are witnessing this as you walk past. What are you gonna do?
Uh, as a gem dragonborn, Sigil can speak telepathically to people she can see within 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to ask Adric, did you hear about this? Anything about this through the guild? He can't respond telepathically, but
I'll just so Edric looks over at Sigil and just kind of you know speaks kind of softly so that just the two of them can hear. It's new news to me.
Hmm.
Do you
Maybe the
engage?
barkeep knows more.
Go ahead, please.
No, Edric just says maybe the barkeep knows more.
Okay. And as you sit down at a table, the barkeep comes up with the 3 mugs of ale, hands them around. What else can I get for you? Or will that do it for you? What would you like?
Seems there's a bit of an uproar in the tavern today. What do you know?
Ah, well, a bit of local trouble, and looks a little bit nervously at Sigil, who's looks like a town guard. Um, we had a family of Gur that were camped nearby, and it just they've disappeared this morning, and there seems to have been all sorts of thefts overnight, and we have a couple of witness reports that saw, one or another of them taking off in various directions. Um, I don't know why they would have just suddenly done this. I mean, maybe some sort of madness has taken on them. We've had other issues lately. I mean, this fog that has been coming up the area, and we've heard cries of strange creatures and things, and we've had people and animals going missing. But I don't know why this family would just suddenly turn to thievery.
Was there a couple of hunters in here not too long ago?
Yeah. Yeah, a couple of folk from Flan that said they were heading out. I think they were heading out up to the Vanishing Hills to go hunting. I advised them against it. I thought it was kind of I wouldn't want to be out in the wilds about now. You know what I mean? Okay, so
Certainly sounds troubling.
yeah, I don't know. I hear rumors that the factions want to retake Flan and kick the dragon out, and yeah, that would be good. But man, I'm just not sure that's the only thing going on. It troubles me. Okay, so the 3 of you who are together have noticed have noticed the Kenku who's been chatting with the folks. There is also an elf sitting alone at a table who is just finishing up a meal and has been paying a little bit of attention to what is going on. But Enigma Blaze, you probably perked up at the last part of what the innkeep was saying, because they're talking about mists and they're talking about other stuff going on and they're talking about the Vanishing Hills, and that's the direction you've been kind of curious about. Do you engage with any of this, or do you just listen? What do you want to do?
I think I want to engage, just
Okay.
out of curiosity.
Do you speak up from where you are, or do you get up and move closer to them?
I would get up and move closer.
Okay. And so as you move closer, the tavern keep turns to you and says, "Ah, yes, is there something else that I can get you, good sir?"
Yes, I would like to hear more about this.
And he sort of gestures to the table. Well, what more would you like to know? I don't know how much I know. You can, the locals gathered over there may have observed even more. I mean, so they're most of the source of the information that I have.
Okay, I guess I'll talk to them.
Okay, so the 3 of you at the table, this elf has come up had this interaction with the Tavern Keep, and then is head over by towards the Kenku and the commoners over at the table.
Stig will probably nudge Adric over in that direction. Since they're talking about the Vanishing Hills.
Sure, let's go see if we can't hear more.
Myrick stays at the table, still very happy with the beer that he got for free.
And if Adric left his half empty cup there, you probably finish that up too while you're at it.
For sure.
Okay, so heading over, and the commoners are starting to get kind of riled up and are very angry, getting angry, telling out their grievances. And so,
Seagull's also sitting at the table and enjoying her ale and the free entertainment.
that's true. All right. So we have Enigma Place, and we have I will have everybody's name now. Merlin over at the table at the commoners. And so they've been telling, engaging in this, or I saw the kind of middle-aged one of them that was pulling a wagon that had some stuff loaded up, and the way it rattled, it could have been those weapons that were going away. And it's like, well, I heard that my wife was saying that she saw the youngling head up into towards the Vanishing Hills too. And maybe they're pulling together to start an attack from up there. Okay, how do you wish to engage with this?
If we may all take a moment to breathe. Thank you. Now, I am not a native of this land, but where I am from, people are presumed innocent until proven guilty.
We've got witnesses here who saw the outcome of this. I mean, what more do you want?
To see these objects in the hands of the accused.
Well, that would be a good thing. Why don't you go out and find the accused and find those objects and return them to us? You look like a capable sort.
And I will.
Does this seem more like fact or rumor? Okay, so we're going to get into some mechanics here. So one of the things about a character is that your character's senses and capabilities are different from your own. And so one of the ways that that's reflected is in skills. And so if you go into the journal and you open your character's sheet by clicking on the name, and it would be the one that has the image of your character rather than your Discord image. And if you go into that, now if you're using D&D Beyond, I should have one of the characters that is using D&D Beyond. I should have a D&D Beyond character up too. Let me grab that quick, so that I can tell you where things are in D&D Beyond. Merrick's sheet. Okay, so one of the things that you can do is, if you kind of want to read the room, like if we're talking fact or rumor, and we're talking about sort of evaluating and judging what's being said, that's going to be a skill called insight. And so in either D&D Beyond or the character sheet in Roll20, whichever one you're using, there's a long list of skills, starting with acrobatics, animal handling, arcana, athletics, deception. They're in alphabetical order down. And if you get down to insight, just click on that, and it will and tell you what it rolls. If you are using D&D Beyond and you have a Beyond 20 plugin in your browser, it will show up in the Roll20 chat. If you don't, it will roll it in D&D Beyond, and you can tell me what the roll is. So to Adric's ear, it sounds more angry, but it doesn't seem like they're just willfully accusing people. And to Enigma Blaze, they may not have their facts straight, but they are not with a 14. So this is on a scale of 1 to 20, generally, and 10 is considered average. So anything above 10 is considered better than average, and the further you are above 10, the much better and more proficient. And so with a 14 insight, you get that they are angry, but it does not seem like fake news sort of thing. It seems like it's at least based in it is at least based in something. They might be reporting something somebody else saw, but it's the kind of small town stuff that is probably at least somewhat reliable. Okay. So Adric, what are you doing with this information?
I'm going to continue to listen for a few moments. Just to.
Okay. And one of the men looking over at you guys leans back and says, "In fact, it looks like there's several of you here adventuring sorts. Why don't you go take care? Why don't you go find these miscreants and bring them back and let us see what they have to say for themselves."
And what's in it for us?
What's in it for you? What do you mean, what's in it for you? And the one who looks like a merchant says, well, frankly, if you return my gems, I would definitely be willing to give some recompense to anybody who's able to return my box of gems to me. And a woman, an elven woman, sort of speaks up and, well, frankly, I would like to have my wand back, and I would be happy to give some magical services if someone needs that. And some of the others are starting to mutter around, and it sounds like there would be compensation of some sort depending on what is returned.
All right. I might be persuaded to go look for these miscreants.
And there's one man kind of opposite the table that sort of looks and says, and mutters to the person next to him, "Yeah, makes sense that one of the city guard wants to be paid for these things. No community spirit."
So where are they camped?
They were camped. They were camped just on the banks right across the bridge here. However, I we can ask some of the witnesses here. Which one do you want to go after first? Do you want to go after
Probably the gems.
the gems, because the gems have got some money possibly attached to them? Yes.
Yeah.
So
Well, and
Are you asking that question of us individually?
well, as kind of a group, and feel free to chat about the cat's back to probably want me to escort. Anyways, go ahead and chat about what you would like to do. And
Well,
the populace here, the commoners here, are clearly sort of seeing you adventuring types as a group. Whether you wish to be a group or not is up to you.
If we save the cursed cook, would I get some free food?
If you deal with that, the tavern keep behind you. If you deal with that, you could eat here free for a week.
Make it 10 days and I'm in.
Done.
Yes!
uh,
Okay, guys, I suggest we get the curse cook.
Well, he is still here, but he's cursed. I mean, he's not responsive. He's just sort of sitting there. He's off in the back room and just sort of sitting there. But we want to capture the person who did it so that he can undo the curse.
That's why
Um,
this food has been tasting so weird.
There's nothing wrong with my food. And
Well,
besides, aren't you wanting to eat a 10 days worth of it?
Fair point.
Go ahead, Amy.
uh, I have training in medicine and religion. Can I check the cook to see if this is actually a curse?
Absolutely, you can.
Which one would it be? Medicine or I guess it's not a
Let me see here. Hang on, let me get the
medicine,
information.
religion, arcana.
Okay.
I think Siegel would also join in inspecting this assistant because if it's just poison, she has lay on hands that could potentially counteract it.
Okay, so as you come up and look at him, we're going to use some of those skills that I said. So now looking at the sheets for the beginners, when you look at the sheets, if you see there's the little bubbles and Enigma, I'm going to move you to your core sheet just for a moment here so I can show that because you're on your spells sheet at the moment.
Right.
So it's a little filled in bubble potentially on D&D Beyond, or it's a little checkbox next to the number. If there's
Mm-hmm.
an indication there, that means that you are proficient. That means this is something that you have been trained in.
Yes.
And if there isn't, it doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means it's not
You
something you're
don't get a
trained
bonus.
in, but you might have some innate ability. You still have the bonuses there, and we will get into the numbers that are there. We will get into that later. Okay, so let me
So I guess I'm rolling medicine.
probably yes. Yes, go ahead and
Okay.
roll medicine for me.
21.
Wow! 21 on a d20. Excellent.
Well, it probably rolled. I have a +5, so it probably
Yep.
rolled an 18.
Yes, it did. And
Wait,
if you hover over it,
16.
you can see what it rolled. Yes. A 16, and in this case, it's plus your proficiency bonus, plus your wisdom bonus, because that's the sort of innate ability that you have applied to it. So with a 21 in medicine, you look at this, and he, um, seems, as you look at him, he's definitely not responsive. Um, he doesn't seem cursed necessarily, but it could be some sort of a spell that has him non-responsive, or it could be he could be drugged, or he could be. You would probably need a little more information, but he's definitely not. He's not faking it. He's very definitely not responsive. His breathing is okay though. A little bit on the slow side. So you think he's probably okay, but you aren't sure how to get him out
Well,
of this condition.
if he doesn't eat, then he's gonna starve to death.
Yes, but at this point, it's only been like, 15 hours. So he's not starving to death yet. Yeah,
Yet
yep.
being the key word, which
Yet
is
being the keyword. All
hmm,
right. Who else is doing something here?
I suppose Merlin would say it may be a curse, it may be drugs. It's without more information, it's hard to tell.
And
Hello?
the tavern keep comes up and says, um, old Mitch, the farmer old Mitch said that he had the old guy in the Gur family that we think that took the herbs and we think cursed him. I mean, headed up to the quivering forest and went in, and he didn't want to go into the quivering forest. I'm frankly surprised he went that far.
Did did the witness hear or see how this cook's assistant was cursed?
No. No,
Hmm.
we saw him in here rummaging around among, or he was rummaging around in here, and we saw him leave, but we didn't see Fred here until later.
So Fred made it back from following the nomad and then wound up in this state.
I don't know. I don't know what he did. It was the old grandpa guy of the family.
Above game, I'm getting confused. So
Okay, tell me.
the assistant found the old man rummaging in the kitchen. Old man ran. Cook's assistant Fred chased him to the edge of the quivering woods.
No. So, um, the old guy ran. Somebody found Fred here, non-responsive. Realized the old man had been here, went chasing after the old man, and tracked him to the forest.
Oh, okay, that's where I was getting confused. I didn't
Yep.
realize.
Thank you for asking.
So it looks like if they were camped nearby, they've moved on to the forest.
Or at least that one has.
Their camp is still there, though.
That's unusual.
How much of the camp is still there?
I don't know. And um, a couple of the woman who was identified as a mage, and one of the men gets up and says, "Well, let's go look." Actually,
Yeah, let's go. Let's
Yes,
go
I
see
agree.
what's left behind.
so Merrick, do you also join in with this? Trooping across the
Well,
woods.
there's no beer left, so yeah.
We've got motivations in order here. So as we
So
troop, go ahead, please.
as we're heading out, Edric will go over to the table where he left his ale and go to lift up his mug to finish it off. Realize it's empty and kind of look around questioningly and assuming that he just drank it himself and set it down and follows everybody out.
And so
Good choice.
just across the bridge, there's a little bit of a clearing beside the road, and you can see a wagon and a campfire, and you can see that some stools have been set up around the campfire, and the fire is dead. The fire, it's just a fire pit at the moment, but there are like cooking supplies right next to it. There are some, normal activity supplies. You can see a couple of musical instruments that had clearly been played. Um, this looks like a camp that, except for the fact that the fire is out, looks like a camp that you would expect to see someone at right now.
So they just up and left.
So
That's weird.
above table, this this handout describes four of them running away. It doesn't say what happened to the older lady that they were deferential to, just that she kept to herself.
This is true. It does not.
So, do we see any sign of her?
Um, so poking around and even sort of knocking at the wagon and peeking into the wagon, you do not.
Hmm.
You see some signs that a woman lives here as well as the men, but you do not see any sign of her, no.
Um,
And
can we
the mage
for
introduces herself as Aya, and she says, "I know they were all here yesterday afternoon. I paid them a penny as I listened to their storytelling and singing.
Can I search for any sign of a struggle or an
You
attack of some sort?
You can, although there is no signs of disorder here. You don't see like, things don't appear to be broken or disordered, or I mean, things just appear to be set down. So you can look for some additional signs. Give me an investigation check, which is in that same skills list.
Yep. Click.
Okay, with a 10. And by the way, the reason why this shows up too is you can either, in some circumstances, you can roll, it's called with advantage or with disadvantage. And with advantage means you have a better than a normal chance of doing it. And so you would roll twice and you would take the higher of the two. If you're rolling at disadvantage, that means you are hampered in some way. You would roll twice and take the lower of the two. For a normal roll, we would just roll once and take the first number. So this is
I have
absolute
it set.
average. I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
I have it set to always roll with advantage. So
It
when
is
I
a
do that,
setting on
if I'm rolling, the number I take is the one on the left. If
Yes.
I'm just looking for
Yes.
one number.
Yes. And if I say roll at advantage, you would take the higher of the number. If I say roll at disadvantage, you would take the lower of the number. And if it's just a regular roll, you would take the one on the left. Yes.
Yeah. So
Okay.
right now it's just 10, so I can't tell shit.
No, that's average. And average is actually, you're able to do some stuff as an average. And looking around, you don't see any obvious scuffed area. There's a little bit of blood over on the side, but it looks like they probably. You also see some bits and pieces of rabbit fur, so it looks like they probably butchered a rabbit there. You don't see any indication of anything that would indicate a major struggle here. And the
This is
woman mage
odd.
Aya speaks up and says, I do have a bit of scrying ability, and I was able to tell which direction the merchant's gems went. I'm a little bit hampered because I don't have my wand. Okay, Adric goes climbs into the wagon and give me an investigation check as you kind of look, kind of move cloth aside, open drawers, kind of poke into corners. And with an 18, you're pretty careful and you're pretty thorough as you look into the various places. You don't see anything that was described. You don't see anything like a wand or a box that could have gems. You do see a box there, but you open it up and it looks like just a woman's normal trinkets. Um, it doesn't sound like the gems that the merchant had. You don't see any particular weapons here. You do see maybe a spare sword, but it looks old and used, and it looks and it's in a place that looks like it belongs. And you don't see anything unusual about herbs or anything. I mean, there are some cooking herbs right around here that actually look like they've been rummaged through somewhat, but they are looking at them and sort of poking and sniffing, and they just seem like common herbs, nothing like what seems to have been taken from the inn.
Does it look like there's a missing wagon from their camp?
No, it does not.
So where'd the wagon come from?
It's a wagon.
Because the one that fled with the weapons had a wagon.
So you do have some information on directions and tracks, and if you choose one of the specific things to start with, I can give you more information on that.
I'll step out of the wagon and let everybody know that none of the items seem to be in there and nothing seems to be out of place. Are there any horses here?
That's a good question. There are two horses that look like they would that are sort of tethered, just a short way off. They look like they're hobbled to keep them from wandering off. And that looks like about how many that the family's wagon would need.
They left behind their horses, too. This is very, very strange.
They wouldn't have gone very far leaving this camp behind. This is
Yeah,
probably
this,
everything they own.
much as I hate to admit it, they don't seem to have planned this very well, which is unusual for them.
Something is not right here.
And Luminaya speaks up. So, well, are you going to go after them? And if so, which one of them? It sounds like they all went different directions.
I'm thinking the forest.
And obviously, Siegel's most interested in the gems.
The gems went to the swamp, yes?
Yeah.
My concern is the forest as well.
And I am also on the forest.
Same as well.
Yeah, so Siegel's gonna grumble. She's been outvoted.
All right, so let's see. The forest is yes, that is the ancient one. Alrighty. Let me look at my topics list, because before we dive into that, what else did I have that I wanted to cover here? We've got the basics of Roll20. We've got some of the basics of that. Moving the token. Yes. All right. So let's dive into this. That is. All right. So we don't know how the old man cursed the cook's assistant.
If he cursed
If he
the
cursed
assistant.
if he cursed the cook's assistants, right? But we do know that he was seen, was headed off towards the southern tip of the Quivering Forest. And the Quivering Forest, those of you who are local know that this place is rife with dangers at the best of times. There's a group of elves known to live in there that are very territorial. It's almost like a little bit of the Feywild is here in the Quivering Forest. And there is a treaty between the forest and the city of Flan that is supposed to prevent any of the creatures there from being sort of taken and disappeared. So you're heading that way with caution. And as you come up to the forest and you're about to step into the forest, there's still that aura of strangeness you've had. And you can hear the squirrels sort of chirping a little bit, and one darts across in front of you, and it looks more ragged than you would expect a squirrel to look. And you can see as it runs up the tree, and it turns and gives kind of a screeching sound at you as it throws an acorn at you. And you go further in, and the mists just fill the forest and with a chill, and it makes visibility very, very difficult here. And it almost makes the underbrush seem to sort of move of itself, even when the wind feels very still. And you get a little bit in, and there's actually some pretty clear tracks, and it's just a single set of tracks that goes in, and they're kind of pushed down in as if someone had run through the dirt path, as someone who had gone pretty fast. And so you start I'm not going to make you roll for that. So as you start following the tracks in, the creaking of the trees around you starts sounding like almost like laughter. And you feel like you are being watched. And as you go in, so tell me how you are proceeding. How watchful are you? What are you doing to be watchful? How do you take on this forest?
Can I try and intimidate any possible nearby uh, uh, enemies?
Um,
Try and roar out.
so give me a perception check first to see if you see any enemies.
1 second.
Uh,
Perception is not great, so
That's okay. Just roll what you've got.
well, 17. Oh, is it 17? Yeah.
Yes. Let's see. Yes, it is a 17. So with a 17 perception, as you're looking around, you're continuing to walk. Um, as a whole, how stealthily are you guys moving? Are you trying to go quietly, being unnerved, or are you?
I mean, Merlin is being cautious, but his armor, um, he's wearing chainmail. He couldn't be quiet even if he tried. So he's just kind of he's being watchful and he's walking forward, but he kind of can't hide.
Right.
So
Any,
he doesn't bother.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and Merrick has never really cared for a stealthy way of life,
yeah.
so he walks pretty unbothered.
Go ahead,
Hmm.
Amy.
I feel like Siegel would be working on keeping their. Well, how defined is the path?
Um, it looks like it's probably a game trail. It doesn't look heavily traveled, which is why the footprints that you're seeing now of someone it's the duff is kind of soft, and that's why you can see the footprints that have come through.
It's probably a little moist from the mist too.
It's a
Yeah.
little moist from the mist too. Yes. You're coming
There's
out,
probably-
and with that perception, with that perception there, you can as you're coming out, you can see that you're coming up to a clearing, and you've noticed it sounds like someone has stepped on a twig up ahead, Merrick.
Can I try and yell or intimidate them from a distance?
Uh, you could try. What do you want? Do you want to sound like a bear coming stomping through, or?
Yeah, spook them out of hiding.
Excellent, excellent. So on your sheet, go ahead and look down for intimidation.
Uh, what's your modifier on that? Oh,
I have a +3.
I was gonna suggest Siegel can do it with help from your character because she's got a +4.
Well, if you want to assist by seeing what Merrick is attempting to do and starting to get in there and helping with the stomping and making loud animal sounds, we can do that with advantage, and it would be the 14. So that's kind of
If you would.
the help action. If someone is proficient in something, you can help another player. And so either the two of you can make separate rolls, or if you're helping someone else, they can make the roll with advantage and they would get it. So we have Merrick here sounding like a big bear stomping through the woods coming up.
I think I'll go for the separate roll. Oh. Hey.
Okay. So you're stomping
Character.
up, and as you emerge out into a clearing area, there is a whole bunch of scuffling going on as I am going to move you to the map. So this is a place where we've got, kind of tokens to give kind of general representations of where things are. Your characters are down in the lower right-hand corner. And you can see some opponents here. What you see are three elves. Three elves? One, two, three. Yes, three elves with several dog like creatures.
Puppy.
Such a cute dog.
And
want
as
that.
you come out, they're very much intent on you. You've gotten their attention as you come out into there, and they all have at their ready, they have bows pointed at you. And one of them calls out, "Halt! What are you doing here?"
We are searching for suspects of thefts in the city of Flan.
And what does that have to do with us?
Nothing. We are searching for the suspects.
So what are you doing in our territory?
The
And one of
suspects
them,
were seen fleeing here.
well, I haven't seen anybody. And one of the scouts starts drawing his bow back.
Shield up.
Okay, so one of the things we're going to need to do here is with some mechanics. So Sigil and Adric, I'm going to need you to put into your hit points and armor class into your character sheets or into your tokens, just for tracking it. So for our newbies, if you click on your token, you will see a couple of numbers. And the number in green is the number of hit points that you have. That is the amount of health that you have. And a commoner has 4 hit points, so you're all stronger than that. The other number in blue is your armor class, and that is how hard are you to hit. So the more armor you have on, or some magical capabilities, it's also based on your dexterity. How nimble are you at being able to dodge things coming at you? So that's how hard it is to hit. And the opponents have also got, their equivalent numbers as well. So you can stop. I do want people to stop and take a look at your character sheets to see, and to get to your character sheet, you can hold down Alt if you're on a Windows machine, or Option if you're on a Mac, and double clicking on your token, and it will open up your character sheet for you.
Huh. None of that one.
And so in this, well, that's for the people who are using Roll20. For the people who are using D&D Beyond, and let me get back to how I closed Merrick's sheet. I shouldn't close Merrick's sheet. So the things that you can do, some of the things that you can do are typically in the center where it says attacks and spell casting. These are going to be any weapons you have, or any spells you have that are have attack-like stuff show up there. On D&D Beyond, there's a large block that says actions in the lower right-hand corner. Oh, cool. Glorious is also learning stuff about Roll20, and yeah, it's the tools help where they help, and it's kind of like you only need to use them enough to to suit what needs you are. If you don't need, they might have tons of bells and whistles, and if you don't need all those bells and whistles, you don't need to do it. So you will also have lists of some of your abilities, and on Roll20, it will be down here in the lower right-hand corner. For example, Enigma Ritual Casting is the first thing, and if you click on it, it'll expand out and give you some definition as to what some of these capabilities are.
Okay.
And I know that you also, and for people in D&D Beyond, where it says actions, there's features and traits. Features and traits, clicking on that will show you where some of the abilities you have. Actions are the kinds of things that you can do in combat. And so Enigma, looking at, and actually this is a good thing, looking at a spell, if you're a spellcaster, there's some things about the spell casting. So in combat, there are, another little whiteboard. In combat, there are a number sort of phases of things that you can do. You have an action, which is sort of the main thing you're going to do in your turn, and your turn will be 6 seconds long. You can have sort of a bonus action, which is sort of a little thing you can kind of do on the side. You can move up to the movement of your character, and you can have free interaction with an object. So, like, you could pick up something off the ground. You could pull out your sword. You could pull out something out of your pouch. To start with, we're not going to worry on the spells. We're not going to worry about components or anything like that, especially to start with. So melee, anything you are next to or within 5 feet of, you can hit with a melee weapon like a sword or a staff or a hammer or something like that. If you have a ranged thing like a bow or some of the spells, it will tell you the distance in feet. And it will give the details. So at this point, we're not going to worry too much about the details on this because it's the first one. We're just going to kind of do things thematically. We will worry more about the rules in later sessions as we get into this and start really learning how to do this. So we also have a thing called initiative, which is how we determine what order people go in. So if you would on your sheet, if you would click on your token on the page and then on your sheet click on initiative, and in D&D Beyond it's next to the armor class, kind of right underneath the proficiency bonus there, and on it is kind of top center on Roll20. And you should have pop up then, people don't have their tokens, which I didn't either. Why is Roll20, maybe Roll20 is not doing this. All right, well, I can add, oh, wait, they all appeared.
Yeah, it sometimes takes a minute to load.
All right, let me take this one off. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have everybody. I'm going to put this in descending order. So, in case of a tie, there's many ways you can determine between a tie. I'm willing to let the player character go first. So we are going to start with Adric. Adric, what are you going to do in your 6 seconds of your turn?
So
You
they're
have dogs
definitely
growling,
being.
and you have bowmen aiming arrows at you.
All right. Well, let's see. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'm gonna run over to here.
And you are a little bit quieter than usual. When I cranked you up this morning, I can't crank you up any higher. Can you get closer to your mic?
I'm gonna run over here.
I'm gonna run over there. Okay.
Yep.
And you can use the ruler. So if you have 30 feet of movement, you can use the ruler to sort of say, okay, how far away is that?
Yeah, I've only got 25. I'm a dwarf.
This is true. You're short. Short legs.
And then I am going. Let's see. Action. I'm gonna take the dodge action.
You're going to take the dodge action. Okay. So what that means is he is going to use his turn instead of actually doing an action on his turn. He's going to use that to focus, and that will mechanically give disadvantage to someone shooting at him. And we have one of my friends, Gizmo Storm, chanting, "Nat 1 for Karis, Nat 1 for Karis." Giz, I will honor that for you. Okay, so you can see the dwarf move over there, and he has a defensive posture. So he has moved and he has done his action. Do you have a bonus action you wish to do?
I do not.
Okay. In D&D Beyond, there's a section on the character sheet. You can see under actions, there's attacks, action, bonus action, reaction, and other. It's not quite as clear on the Roll20 sheet, but I can help people work through mechanics as to what they want to do. Okay, so that will end Adric's turn. So what the scouts are going to do is they are going to shout, "Get at them!" And they are going to start shooting the arrows that they have prepared. And the first arrow is going to go at Adric. And the second arrow, and I know you know what to do. I'll tell you that the second arrow is going to go at Sigil. And the third elf's arrow is
Hey, it's
going
an
to
that one
go,
for Karis.
is going to go at Merlin. And we're going to talk about these here in just a second. Oh, these guys are doing good. Okay, so for 2 of them, they rolled a natural 1. Now, when you roll the D20, the 20-sided die is kind of the core die that's used. It was a joke way of saying hello, but okay. And see there, Giz, the dice went up for you. We have 2 nat ones that were rolled, thanks to you. Anyway, um, so it's kind of special when you roll a 1, which is really, really bad, or when you roll a natural 20 on the dice. So the 2 on the enders are kind of special, and sometimes you can have special things sort of happen. At some tables, it's called a critical. A critical fail could be anything from it's just a guaranteed miss and they lose the rest of their action, to sometimes you can have something dramatic happen, like their bowstring break or something like that, and they're out of combat for a while. And the natural 20, you have a really good shot and you get to do extra damage. So to determine whether it hits you or not, the 2 natural ones obviously don't hit. So for Adric, we need to know what is your armor class, and that was the one that we said was the blue number, and your armor class is 13.
Yep.
Oh, actually, you don't necessarily take that damage because I have to roll it at disadvantage because you took the dodge action. So I need to re-roll that one, which was actually higher. So the lower number's a 14, which it still hits. So that means that Adric takes 4 points of damage off of the hit points that he has. Okay. Now, the scouts are going to also sort of back up. They've got longbows. They've got range on their bows. They're backing up away. I need to know people's passive insight. So I want you to look at your character sheet, find insight, and tell me the number next to. Tell me the number next to it.
Merrick is -1.
-1. Okay, so the base is 10. So 10 minus 1, your passive insight would be a 9. Adric's passive insight is an 11. Amy, I didn't catch what you said.
Would be a 12.
12, okay. Deku, how about Merlin's?
My number is a 5, so my passive
15.
insight is 15.
Ooh, that is very good. And Enigma, how about Enigma Blaze?
0.
Okay, so you have a 10 is your passive insight. Okay, so Merlin, you actually notice as the elves kind of back up away and they it looks like they command the dogs to attack. The dogs kind of step sideways from them and they do growl and they do start advancing towards you. They aren't in a hurry and they seem uneasy with the I actually didn't look to see what the movement is for these guys. How much movement do they have? And they seem uneasy with the elves. Their movement is 40 feet. So they're going to move quite up, but they're not going to quite make it to you guys because they're not going to dash. They're moving a little on the slow side. So the dogs are moving up and I need to move the turn order out of the way. Okay. That is going to be their turn. So, Enigma Blaze.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and open your sheet. Yes.
Can I say something when it's not my turn, or?
You can say something, yes.
Your training of these dogs seems lacking.
So Enigma,
They
on your sheet, you have 3 things that are kind of that are can be used during an attack. Firebolt, which is you basically gesture and it sends a bolt of fire at something and it does fire damage, and it does 1d10 of fire damage, and considering you have 7 hit points, that's a lot of damage that you can do with that. Burning Hands, and if you look at the description of these on the spell sheet, let's see here. Burning Hands, which we can actually also put it out to chat where folks can see it. That's another thing where you can shoot out a 15-foot cone so that you can hit. It's what's called an area of effect, so it can affect more than one creature for over 15 feet. and Thunder Wave, which affects an area directly in front of you and sort of sends a rolling thunder out and does thundering type of damage. So you can do those things. You can also, you should have mage armor here if you look in your spells. What would probably be a good thing for you to do is cast mage armor, which is a magical defense that makes it harder to be hit.
Okay. I'll probably do the mage armor because they are getting a little closer.
Yes, that is pretty much the first thing. Yeah, it's pretty much the first thing you kind of do is you do mage armor. So that is going to make your armor class 13 plus your dexterity modifier, which means your armor class with mage armor is now going to be 16. So instead of them, they needed a 13 to hit you before, now they need a 16 to hit you.
Okay.
All right. So do you wish to move? So that takes your action, as I recall. Yes, that takes your action. Do you wish to move?
Yes. I'm gonna move right over here to be like kind of toward the center.
Okay. Now, generally, mages are called squishy. Generally, they don't have a lot of health, but now at first level, everybody's kind of squishy. But still, looking at this, Merrick has like twice the amount of health that you have. So you kind of want to be a little bit cautious about that. But you do not have to worry about your character dying, even if you drop down to 0 hit points. There's mechanics for this, and I'm not going to kill anybody's characters in the first session. I'm just not.
Aw.
Thunderwave well played. Thunder Rolls is the theme song. Yep. That's about it. Okay, so you have cast mage armor on yourself, and you have moved. All right, let's go to Merrick. Merrick, what would you like to do? You are in D&D Beyond.
Yes. If I choose to move, what will that, like, what action would that
So
replace?
that would be the movement part. So there's sort of 3 parts to your turn. You have your movement, well, 4 parts. You have your movement, your action, your bonus action, and most people don't have bonus actions at this level, and free interaction with an object. So,
Okay.
like if you wanted to throw a rock, you could reach down and pick up a rock, for example, as your free interaction with an object. Now, I did give your I did create a Roll20 character sheet for you, and I did give you a quarterstaff if you wish to use it, or you can use your unarmed strike as a monk. Monk's unarmed strikes are pretty good. You would have to go up and hit something though. You don't have much in the way of ranged. I don't think you have
Yes.
anything in the way of ranged.
So, I would move up to the first dog on the right,
Okay.
and I'll punch it with my unarmed strike.
Okay. So go ahead and roll your unarmed strike. You do
Yes.
that by clicking on it in D&D. Oh, there you. Oh no, that was an enigma. Oh, and there you've got beyond 20, and you're rolling it clear through. A 22 is definitely going to hit. Oh my goodness. All right. Yeah, I don't even need to look at that. So now on the screen in the chat in Roll20, where you see Monk Unarmed Strike, go ahead and click on that to give me some damage. How much?
So the damage
Yes.
itself.
Yes. So if you click on it, yeah, 4 bludgeoning. This creature is looking very badly hurt. You came up and punched it in the nose, and it's like, ugh! And it looks like you could practically tap it, and it would probably fall over. All right, so you have moved. You've used your action. Do you have a bonus action you wish to use?
Not that I'm aware of.
As a monk, where you did an unarmed strike on your attack action, you may also do an unarmed strike on your bonus action. So you may
Well,
do
then I
another
would also
unarmed
like
strike.
to unarmed strike again.
Punch him again.
Yes. 15.
15 will definitely hit. Give me some. You don't need to give me damage. He only has 1 hit point. Okay.
Well,
So, with a whimper, it falls over. It falls over dead.
Puppy.
Merlin will remember this.
Speaking of Merlin, what would you like to do? Let's see.
I-
You have your sheet in roll
Yeah.
20, as I recall.
Yeah, I do. I want to cast sleep,
Okay.
and I want to. It's 20 feet from a point of my choosing, and I
Yeah.
want to be able to hit the dogs.
Let's see.
So
5,
the
10,
living dogs.
15, 20, 25, 40.
I think
Okay, so we can move this. Where do you want to center this at, and why am I not?
I
Oh,
want
because
to be able to hit the 3 dogs and nobody else.
and I'm not
Let's.
picking up the. Why am I not picking up this circle? Let me move the dogs sheet away. Okay. Oh, gotta love roll 20. The tools are really great and really useful and really helpful when they work.
Oh.
And they don't. It will. I'm just gonna get rid of it. Okay, it will. You can easily cover all 3 of those. So go ahead and this says roll 5d8. So if you roll it in the attack section of your sheet, it will roll the 5d8, or you can use the dice roller in the tool to roll 5d8.
19.
19. All right. So this one goes to sleep. 19. That actually puts all 3 of them to sleep.
I want to say, forget the dogs, focus on the elves. And I should move. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Can I move diagonally for just 5?
Can you do what?
Can I move diagonally for
Yes.
just 5?
Yes. You can move.
That's
Yes.
30.
Yeah. You can move. Yeah. You can move. I mean, like you can see the arrows that'll say how far the movement is from where you go to where you're going. You can do that.
Let's see, that was an action, I believe.
It was an action to cast your spell. Yes.
Yes.
And you've used your movement. You still have a free interaction with an object if you like, or a bonus action if you like.
I don't think I've gotten much in the way of bonus actions right now. Let me double
Okay.
check my spells here.
Probably not. There are very few bonus actions at first level. Monks definitely have a bonus action at first level. Most classes.
Yeah. And because you used your action for a spell, you could only use you couldn't use a bonus action spell unless it's a cantrip.
Right.
Yeah, and there aren't many bonus action cantrips.
Right.
Oh, there's
any of them. So I guess that's me.
Okay. Let's go to Sigil then.
Not a whole lot I can do. Well, oh well. She's going to have to use an action to dash. To, there's only the one she can get in range of. Because she's not going to drop her scythe right now, and the dogs are asleep, so she's going to go threaten this guy.
Okay, so she's going to go and be menacing.
Make it hard for him to fire.
And so what we've done here is Sigil used her action to do another movement. So instead of whereas Adric used his action to be defensive to help defend him against things, Sigil is using it to move extra distance. So she can't use her action for anything else now because she used it for movement, but she can get right up in his face. And when you're wielding a ranged weapon, if you've got somebody right there in your face, it is harder to do, and so that is where we get into the disadvantage of the roll. So this person would now have a harder time
Um,
shooting. Yes.
would that? I don't think that applies to this one. My weapon also has the reach trait, so she could melee this one if she had an attack right now.
Okay, so you are in melee range. Yes, it does affect that one then. Yes.
Okay.
It does. All right. Do you have a bonus action or an interaction?
I keep trying to use Foundry style, just double click on the token, open my sheet, but I
Is you know I love your halflings. I'm not sick of your halflings after these years. Don't be silly. Go ahead, Amy.
my class feature for actions. Not that I'd use them right now anyway, but yeah, that's back to Amador.
Okay, Adric.
All right. So, holding my rapier in my right hand, I'm gonna pull out one of my daggers with my left, and then I'm going to use the dash action myself to charge across this field at this elf.
Hmm?
And as I do so, I'm going to yell and scream like a madman at him.
Okay.
Dwarves.
So
I don't
yelling
have
and screaming like a madman and getting up into his face. All right. Are you doing anything else your turn?
Yeah, I don't have a bonus action.
All right. So we're back to the scouts. So it has been 6 seconds. Well, actually, before Edric's turn. So that has been that was the first 6 seconds for the first round. And so in this next 6 seconds, so what they've had happen is one of their dogs has been punched out. The other dog's been put to sleep. Two of the fighters have come running up at them. And this is very unnerving. And anybody in that situation, if you're at a bow and you've got fighters right in your face, that is very unnerving. Um, so they would try to back away. And I'm actually going to back them away. Like I'm going to back this one away, which means there is in combat one more thing called a reaction. You have one reaction per turn, so you can only use one before your turn comes around again. But when somebody leaves your melee range, that's a time when you could use your reaction. So you may make an attack of opportunity if you wish, Adric, as the scout has gone out.
I do, and that's a dirty 20.
Okay, that is a definite hit. Give me some damage on that. 6. Okay, he is badly hurt. And that was with your rapiers. And that is piercing damage? Yes. Yep. Yes, piercing damage. 6 total. Actually, sneak attack damage. Would you have? You wouldn't have sneak attack yet.
I do not have sneak attack.
Okay,
damage.
so let me
There's
add
no,
2 of those back. Yeah, let me add 2 of those back. Okay, so but 4 damage. So you, as he starts pulling back away from you, you poke into him, and he's got a nice hole in his side as he pulls away. But now that he's pulled away, he is going to shoot at you. Oh, these scouts actually have multi-attack. Well, I haven't been doing multi-attack yet, so I'm not going to do it now. And misses dreadfully. He's unnerved and shoots wide. So the next scout is coming up, and he doesn't... Well, he would know about pole arms. So he's not going to move with Sigil, but he is... and he would be affected by disadvantage, but he hasn't taken that into account. So he's actually going to shoot over at Mirik, who has punched out the dog.
It's still disadvantage, but...
It is still disadvantage, yes. Let me see here. Here it is. Come on, roll 20. That does not show the disadvantage. Let me try this again. There's something weird going on because I put it on disadvantage, but it's not showing disadvantage.
That is weird.
I don't know. Anyway, so I'll take the 12 that was first. Okay, so Mirik, what is your armor class?
13.
13. So that 12 is a miss. You can ignore the 23s. Those were as I was trying to get roll 20 to behave. So that is a miss. An arrow comes whistling past your ear, but it misses you. And Sigil, this scout is going to drop their bow and pull their short sword, and is going to attempt to attack you with it.
Ow.
Does a 21 hit?
Yeah. And I don't have the shield spell, so yep, that definitely hits.
Okay. So that is their turn. The dogs give snores. The ones that are still alive give snores. Okay.
Oh, I accidentally replaced my hit points with a minus sign because my numlock was toggled off.
Oh, okay. Actually, keep going with Dark Rain. Keep going with the Dark Rain. Sorry. And that's Sarah, if I recall correctly. Yes, the classic tune about what the bonus actions are at first level. Yes. Because here, what we're doing, the main point of what we're doing right now is we are learning we're learning how this stuff works. And so we're getting into a variety of scenarios. Okay, so Enigma,
Yes.
it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Quick question. How are you guys doing the measurement thing?
Oh, excellent question.
There's a ruler icon on the left, right below the magnifying glass.
Yep, in the toolbar, it looks like a little ruler.
Oh, okay.
If you click on that, you can then... Yes, exactly.
Click drag.
Okay, I got plenty of room. I guess I will do Firebolt to the middle one.
Okay, so click Firebolt in your attacks section.
Okay.
And it'll roll it as an attack rather than putting out the description of the spell. Oh yeah, you've got lots there. 13. A 13 will hit. So where it says Firebolt, not where it says show spell description, but where it says Firebolt, go ahead and click the Firebolt there, and it'll give the damage. Oh, Zach's circle. Yes. And I'm a D&D player. Yes, I'm a D&D player. I'm a dungeon master even. So you've done 1 fire damage to the one in the middle and singed him. Good. If I take 1 off of his damage there. Okay, do you wish to move?
Yeah, I'm gonna get a little bit closer. Right here, yeah.
And I don't remember what commands I have in my own channel here. I don't remember because I usually play Dungeons and Dragons. I am in a let's see,
How
I'm
much
in the Saturday
movement do you
cast
have?
game for Daddy Warbucks, and I produced the Thursday night game for D20 Gaming, and that's apparently not Kevin's the D20 Gaming thing. I'm sorry, what did you say, Deku? I missed your comment there.
Enigma moved like 50 feet. How much movement does he have?
You cast a
Shouldn't
spell,
have
so
been
you
that
only
much.
have 30 feet of movement. Yes.
Okay, so let me go back. Sorry about that.
Nope, that's okay. I did tell you did not need to know anything in advance.
Right.
I need to glance at my commands here and find out what is my command
So
for
here.
Dirty 20 Gaming. Helps if I know my own commands.
The DM is distracted. Quick, do all the cheaty things.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Like drink somebody's ale.
I don't have a command for Dirty 20 Gaming. How do I not have a command for Dirty 20 Gaming?
Wow.
I need to do my command over on Dirty 20 Gaming that's got all my links and things. I obviously don't do this very often. I'm sorry, peeps. Okay, so note to self: get my command for where to reach me. Yeah. It has been a very long time since I've streamed Dungeons and Dragons on my own channel. So yeah. Okay, so we had the firebolt, we had the movement. What else do we have? Much like a war bear. Another veteran DM. Yes. Okay, so Enigma, you moved and you cast your spell, which basically covers your turn. So let's move on to Merrick then.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
How much movement do I have if I also use my action for movement?
So you can use your entire movement again for that. So if you have 30 feet for your movement, you can do another 30 feet during your action. So you could
Okay.
go a total of 60 feet.
Well, that is
And then you
just
cannot do,
inconveniently short.
you would not be able to do your bonus action attack because your bonus action attack is only if you do an attack during your action, according to the description of
Yes.
it.
Let me just check.
And
Okay, I can move
Warberry,
up
yes,
here.
I do more with the role play because my games tend to be character driven, but this is a beginner's game and we're learning the mechanics. This is actually a session 0 where we're learning the mechanics of Roll20 and D&D.
I have moved up to the rightmost archer, and
Mhm.
that is all.
Okay. Brings us back around to Merlin. And I have
Okay,
lost you, Merlin. Where are you? Oh, there you are.
Okay, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And I could either use my
Okay.
crossbow or I can just cast Sacred Flame. I can just get my head together.
Okay.
It is Sacred Flame, Sacred Flame. Does this work?
It does work. And who are you aiming that at? 60 feet. They're all in
The
range of you.
middle.
The middle one?
Yes.
Okay. Click on where it says Sacred Flame. Give me some damage. Ooh, 8. You take like more than half of this guy's
Actually,
damage.
I don't know why that rolled as an attack. You need to make a dexterity save.
Oh! That's a good question. Why did it roll as an attack? Let me put that 8 back.
Because by default, if you list something as an attack on your sheet, it
It makes the attack
like
roll.
it toggles it. You have to uncheck the attack roll on it.
Okay,
Okay,
so let
dang
me
it.
do a dex save. So, in some it's a matter of do you actually attack them, and in some it's a matter of like an area of an effect. Are they able to dodge it? So we're gonna do a dex save here. Ooh, they actually save. So Sacred Flame, I believe, is a cantrip, which means
Yes.
no
Yep.
damage if they save. Oh yeah, there we got it with the DC 13 dex save. Okay, so flames come out from Merlin's hands and zap towards the scout, and the scout dodges out of the way and it just goes zipping past. Okay, anything else, Merlin? Do you wish to move? You
Last
did move.
chance. Stand down. That's my turn.
Okay, Sigil.
All right. Ah, crap! I was gonna move to that square.
You can move into another player's square. You just cannot end your turn in the same square.
Yeah, this square still works.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I could
Um,
aim a cone that way.
can I have,
I've got a dragon breath attack. Why did I just do the same stupid thing twice in a row? Oh, well, she's hooking around that way, and she's going to use her breath weapon, which is a 15-foot cone. For 7 damage, half saves.
Was a 15-foot
Or
cone, did you say?
15-foot
Okay, so it gets
cone.
2
It
of them.
hits both of these two, and
Yep.
I assume I can aim it to not hit friend.
Yes, you can aim it to not hit friend. Absolutely.
I just don't see a cone tool.
I'll get them by the next one.
So
Okay, so
yeah,
that
they
is
both
a
need to make
dex save. So we
dex.
need 2 dex saves as they try and dodge out of the way for half damage. They both succeed, but they both get what is your breath weapon?
3.
Force damage. Okay.
It's force, yeah.
So he gets sort of a
Just
blasting that just knocks them and rattles them good. So I give the teas. So it's that they take 4 each. Okay. Anything else, Sigil?
One second. Checking recharge. Oh yeah, I need to mark the use off on my sheet. And then that would have been 10-foot movement.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well move right back.
Can do. So that's something, your movement, you can do your movement. You don't have to do all of your movement to start. You can do some of your movement, do your action, do more of your movement. Anything else, Sigil?
Yeah, I can't cover all 3 at once, so
Okay.
yeah.
Brings us back around.
Actually,
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Amy.
this one switched to melee weapons, so I can't just take a step back for free.
Correct.
Anyway, go for it.
Okay, Adric.
Okay, let's see here. Well, I'm going to yell at this guy who moved away from me, telling him to stop running. It'll just make it worse. And then I'm going to move up to him. And I'm going to use my action to attack him with my rapier. Ooh, that's only a 12.
And that misses. That chinks up. What is he wearing? He is wearing leather armor. So you pierce to his leather armor, but his leather armor protects him.
And I'm going to use my 2-weapon fighting to attack him with my dagger as well.
With your offhand attack, go for it.
That's a 16.
So yeah, it was just a feint you had at the start to get his attention there, and you come in under the side for 4 damage.
3 damage. It's just 3.
Yes. There I am looking at the total damage and the sneak attack.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's adding the sneak attack damage.
Because it
There's a setting somewhere.
Must be.
I've done it as a macro before. I'd have to look it up. But...
Yeah.
I'm doing my rolling in D&D Beyond, so it seems to be adding the sneak attack damage on its own.
Huh.
Yeah, there'll be, but we can adjust there. We use the tools as we use them.
Yep.
Anything else, Adric?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, you told this guy to stop moving away, so he is going to drop his bow, grab his sword, and he is going to stab at you. Ooh, that is a hit.
Yep.
And this scout is going to continue with his. He is going to fire at Merlin again. He's still wielding a bow. So that shot at, I don't think a 12 hits you, does it? Merlin, what is your...
No, my AC is 18.
Disadvantage, but...
True. Disadvantage doesn't matter. It misses anyway. All right. So this guy is now going to stab at... Is going to stab at that Dragonborn. And an 8 is not going to hit anything. Okay. So that is their turn. Enigma, what would you like to do?
All right, I think I'm gonna move a little closer, right about here.
Okay.
And I'll probably just shoot another firebolt at them, just kind of get their attention.
Okay. He's gonna start thinking of you as a threat and start shooting at you. Firebolt 12. It misses again. It goes zipping past. So you've moved. Do you have any more movement you wish to do?
No, that should be it.
Have you said against something other than a tree? Ah, goodness. Okay, Merrick.
Yes. So the archer that I'm standing near, or the scout rather,
Yes. So he's now wielding a short
was
sword.
hit.
He
was hit.
Go ahead.
By Seagull's
Breath weapon.
breath attack.
Yes.
So I could assume that his constitution is a little lowered. His
His
guard might be a little down.
yes, his defenses are not down, but his health is somewhat lower.
Would
He's
it be
looking rough.
possible for me to grab him and contain him so we can capture him after the fight?
Yes, it would. This is called a grappling attack. So what you would do is on your sheet you would use athletics, and it would be a contested thing where he could either try to, as you're trying to grab him with strength, he can either try to with strength get away from you, or he can try to dodge out of the way and use dex. So go ahead and give me your athletics.
That is a 14.
That is a 14, and he is going to use his dex. Ooh, you have grabbed him. Okay. So now that you've grabbed him, a couple of things. He cannot move away from you without taking an action to try and break your grapple. Sigil would have advantage on attacks against this person because you're holding him and they can't easily dodge out of the way if you're holding them firm. Let me put this in. Let's see, grappled. Can I put that in chat? I can't put it in chat. Oh, and I can't even display it either. Okay. That's not anything I've tried to do in Roll20 before. Copy it and paste it. That's what we shall do. Yes.
If we want to, we can say we're attacking non-lethally, which means we're not trying to kill these people, right?
Yes. You can knock them out without killing them. Yes. If you are wielding a melee weapon. You cannot say that if you are wielding a ranged weapon.
And magic.
Yeah, there's a keyword in there if we want to.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
Okay, so Mirek has this elf grappled. Are you going to try to do anything with him while you have him grappled? Are you going to
I
try
will
to
just
move
try
him?
and keep him upon the ground.
Okay, you're just going to hold him in place. Oh, well, thank you for the compliment, Dark. Okay, let's see here. So that'll take us to Merlin.
Five, 10, 15, 20. Bringing out the Warhammer. Wrong window. Not the spell list, core list, Warhammer one-handed. That's only a 6. Boo.
That will miss. Yes. So you come up. You are really half-hearted about this. Swinging your warhammer. It's like, look, guys, you just need to give up, okay? You just need to give up. But as you're close, because Merlin, you've got a pretty good passive insight here. There's something wrong with this scout. Now that you're looking at her straight in the face, her eyes look a little bit odd. She isn't quite focused. She's moving oddly. There is something odd about her. And if you glance over at the others, you can see there's something odd about them too.
These elves are possessed.
Okay.
That's the assumption Merlin is making. But I'm making it his suspicions known to the group.
Okay, so you have moved. You have done your attack. Sigil.
That's my action. I don't have a bonus action.
Yep.
That's me. End turn.
Yeah. Honestly, Sigil doesn't care. She hasn't lived this long in Flan, giving a fuck about motives when somebody's trying to stab her. So, let me toggle advantage and 17 to hit the grappled scout.
That will absolutely hit.
4 for 5 slashing.
Okay, and you slice through the person's arm.
Yeah.
Anything
And
else?
nah, I think yeah, she's not gonna move. So
Okay.
end of turn.
So before we move to Adric's turn at the top of the round here. So yes, combat is slow and clumsy. It does get faster as you start getting comfortable with what your character's capabilities are, and you start getting into some patterns. It's like, okay, this pattern works really well for me, and I will do this pattern. It can speed up. It still is going to take longer than 6 seconds to get through a round than it takes for our characters, which is why I keep saying 6 seconds is to remind that it is actually going by really fast on the ground. And that is kind of one of the downsides of the mechanics of D&D, and different systems have different ways of doing combat. Some are more efficient than others. And sometimes when you get down near the end and it's pretty clear how it's going to go, I will frequently just sort of hand wave and say, okay, we're going to say that you guys do. In fact, I might do that now because it is pretty clear that these guys are not very effective against you guys, and you guys are very effective against them. So we're going to kind of hand wave, and I want you guys to tell me, how do you take them down? Are you killing them? Merlin, you've got Enigma Blaze there, who's sending fire at the guy. Um, the others
Last
have got
chance.
melee weapons.
Drop your weapons now. And if he doesn't, I'm just gonna leg sweep him, get him down on the ground, and take his fucking weapon away.
Okay, he does not. They do not. They are going to fight until the bitter end until you have subdued them. So Merlin is intent on subduing. Adric, Mirek, and Sigil, are you intent on subduing, or are you intent on...
Seagull's not inclined to leave this elf's head attached to their shoulders. Put it that way.
Okay, Mirek, are you inclined to prevent Sigil from killing this elf while you've got them held?
Yes.
Okay. So
I'm dancing with the little scout.
okay, and getting in the way and imposing disadvantage on Sigil. Adric, what are your intentions with the elf you're dancing with?
Since he's done quite a bit of damage to me, I'm gonna take him out. I'm just gonna,
Okay.
kill him.
So we are going to end up with, I'm going to fast forward us over it. We're going to end up with that one over here dead. This one here subdued and captured. And the one between Sigil and Mirek, I need each of you to roll me a d20, and let's see which of you is going to prevail on this poor elf's fate. Okay, we have a 5 for killing him, and we have a 6 for subduing him. He is
Wow.
subdued.
That was a little close.
Leaving this man's
Outstanding.
life
Yeah.
up for fate.
The elf does not have as much hair as they did coming into the encounter.
Does not have as much hair, has lost half of his
Or
arm,
blood.
things like that. Okay. So you have a dead elf. Now, after a while, the dogs are going to start waking up. So, as
Sleep only lasts a minute.
quiet falls, battle of the dice for a choice. Yep. And that's the thing. Rules, yes, there are rules as written, but the rules are here to help us tell the story and help us engage in this game together. If the rules aren't suiting a particular purpose, okay, we do something else to suit the purpose of what we're trying to tell. There is nothing sacred about the rules. Okay, so you have one dead body, one dead elf, one dead dog, 2 subdued elves, and 3 dogs that are starting to move a little bit and snuffle a little bit. They look like they're going to wake soon. What are you guys going to do?
Can I whisper to the scout in my arms?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry about the dog. I shouldn't have killed the dog. I'm sorry. I don't know if he has any attachment to the dog, but I'm still sorry.
Let me loose and I will slice you to pieces.
Okay, I'm not sorry about the dog. Fuck the dog.
Not literally, please.
Yeah, please not.
Anyway, You're one to talk about getting sliced to pieces.
And you can see he's got kind of a wild look in his eyes as he says, "We'll kill anyone who comes into our range."
So,
I'm
Seagull
trying to
is going to use
Never mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
bring up my sheet to post it in chat. She's going to use her divine sense.
Ah. Okay, so here it talks about odors and music. How is your divine sense flavored?
Oh,
Okay, this is presence of evil. You know the location of celestial fiends or undead. You know the type, but not identity. Place or object that has been consecrated or desecrated. Okay, so this isn't exactly detect evil and good, but I'm going to give, let's see, presence of strong evil and powerful good. Okay. Tell me a little bit about the flavor for your character.
I'd probably flavor it as Seagull's focusing a bit. Her maybe closing her eyes briefly and just looking around, just seeing sort of like how video game would display night vision,
Mm-hmm.
except just something that would register on divine sense would be glowing on it.
So
Otherwise,
kind of like Eagle Sense in Assassin's Creed.
I only played like half hour of the first Assassin's Creed. So
I've never played Assassin's Creed, but probably that is probably an apt sort of thing. So the sense you get as you're looking around, as you open yourself to your deity and use your paladin senses, what you see is that the mist around looks a sickly green of evil, and it's cloying it. And as you look at the elf here in front of you, it looks almost like it has soaked into them. And as you glance around, you see that you see on your the other people here with you, you see it kind of along their skin, but on these elves it has is soaked in and they practically are glowing with it. And as you look around, you notice the dogs are much less so. The dogs are more like the people that you're with, as that it's there, but it hasn't soaked into them.
okay, so she'll call out to the others. The mist is foul and uh like corrupting them. It's sinking into them.
Enigma, what do you make of this? Because this is now magic, and that we're talking about here, and this catches your interest.
I think there's something amiss. Something's controlling.
And if you look, you do have a detect in magic, as I recall. I'm
Yes, I
gonna
do.
put on your sheet. So go ahead um and click on that with the little chat bubble on it next to the spell so that it prints out. You can see what it does. Yes, Amy. I was totally not thinking that at all when Enigma said it. Definitely not.
Nope, not at all.
But so go ahead and click on it so that so on your spell sheet, find it and then click on the little chat bubble and it'll print it here in chat where folks can see it and read it. Okay,
Yeah.
detect magic. Okay, so as you're concentrating on this and you're looking around, it's like, okay, we've got magic around. Ooh, thank you for the compliment, Dark. Leave you a lurk, and thank you for lurking. Okay, so within the area just right around you, and I think are the dogs within range of you? Not quite. You could move, but you
No.
could easily move a little bit to get a sense of the dogs too. So what you are sensing is, oh lordy, Um, it is magic, and I'm supposed to be able to tell you the school of magic. Use your action to see a faint aura around visible creature. It bears magic. It is very clearly the mist, and I'm going to say it is. I'm going to say it's reading similar to necrotic. It's reading of death. And so
Huh.
what you're seeing is you are seeing like death in the mists around you. Um, so your detect magic, you can sort of choose whether it's colors that you see or whether you see kind of shapes or things, or what kind of flavor. How would you like this detect magic to appear?
Shapes.
Shapes. Okay, so you're seeing a nice um all practically a symbol of the radiation symbol. Seeing it appear in the air around you on all the little droplets of mist around you. The most evil school of magic enchantment. No, this is sickly. This is yeah, sapping the life out of people. So that's what you're
I'm
seeing
surprised it's
right.
not skull and crossbones.
Well, yeah, that would work too. A skull and crossbones would work too. Except I more associate that with poison. But
Fair.
okay, so the dogs are starting to stir, and the first one of the dogs is starting to sort of shake itself and get up, and it's kind of looking your direction, and it hunches down, kind of in fear, and it gives sort of a whine. What are you guys doing?
Seagull will toss the dogs a fresh bit of meat, the severed arm.
Or
God.
Okay.
his option.
Content
Merlin's
warnings.
not
Content
right.
warnings. All right, let's see here. Misty CW. Let's put the content warning up. Violent. This comes under violence and gore. Yes. Okay, good.
I was not the one who narrated the severed arm in the first place.
I
Just
know. I
making it
know.
clear.
I know. Okay. So you toss it there, and actually, they don't really. They kind of comes up to kind of sniffs it, and then kind of goes sideways away, and is looking very disturbed. And they don't actually attack you. They almost slink away. And they keep their attention on you, and they're kind of moving sideways and sort of backing away from you. They're afraid, and they look very uncomfortable, and they don't like this, and they are kind of moving away. Okay?
Can Merlin toss them each a ration before they leave?
Yes, absolutely. And that they will actually eat.
If the evil is possessing Yells, it would make sense that they would not want to eat tainted meat.
It does make sense. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That was in character, so let's see. -3 rations.
Okay. Alrighty. So,
And
go ahead.
Mirek asked a question of my fellow adventurers.
Speak up.
Uh, Seagull, and did you the mist? You were talking about a mist. Did that remind did the cook assistant have the mist? Like the same mist? I don't understand this mist thing, but is it like the same mist?
Uh, uh, Seagull's not the one who inspected him, but
Merlin, I think, was the one who inspected it.
um, would there have been a mist there?
No, it's not the same.
Damn. I would have got me closest to that free food.
But you have not tracked down the old man yet.
Uh, we're probably gonna Party probably wants to look for where the tracks continue. Siegel is a bit unnerved by this mist and its effects on these scouts. I don't think we want to stay here that long.
Did we observe any mist near the campsite where the nomads were staying?
I don't think anybody looked really.
But thinking back in your memory,
There's fog when we came in.
a little bit similar to what there was around the inn, not nearly as thick as this. No.
So it was kind of between the inn and here in thickness.
It got thicker and thicker as you came, and particularly as you came into the woods, it was very thick. Yes.
So it's possible that the nomads became infected with the same thing the elves were.
It seems possible.
I do not like this. We should continue to look for the nomads.
What are we gonna
Is
do with
there
our
a way we can
prisoners?
use these scouts to figure out where the old guy was? Can we like track him down?
The scouts seem like worse than dead weight right now because they're still actively hostile. Like their dead
feral.
weights are unconscious. They're struggling against us if they're not.
Yes, they are struggling against you.
I have some rope.
As
They're-
do I.
They're still not going to cooperate with us because the mist has infected them.
There's a nice
don't have
tree
a-
over there that we can tie them to.
Yeah.
Just thinking maybe we could use them to find the guy who made the mist. The source of the mist.
They do not seem responsive to your questions. They seem to be snarling back at you almost as if mad dogs themselves, and they talk about slicing you up and that they will kill you. And they will kill anyone who comes into their territory.
We're not getting information out of them.
I'm still not sorry about the dog.
You had been following
You are.
tracks that got you here.
Yeah. So we can just follow the tracks on our own. Siegel's in favor of getting out of this forest as soon as possible because, like, can she see how well the mist is getting into us?
It doesn't. It just sort of seems to be like on the surface, like the mist. You can feel the mist.
It hasn't gone
Yeah,
skin deep
Yeah,
yet.
it hasn't sunk in. No.
Yeah, I don't think we want to spend the night in here.
Do we know how long the mist has been around the camp in the inn?
I don't think anybody asked.
You do not. I'm trying to think if anybody would know that. No. The people around Fun have heard there has been. Yeah, you don't know.
Should we take out the scouts before we head out?
At least incapacitate them by tying them up or something.
I mean, at least 4 of us can, like, JoJo stomp their asses. Knock them out, even if we don't kill them.
Yeah, I could definitely knock this one out.
Yeah.
Merlin's for knocking them out.
I'm cool with knocking them out. They don't seem to be acting of their own accord.
Yeah, Siegel's not happy about leaving a potential threat behind us, but between us and the way out. But
Then take their weapons if you're so concerned.
yeah,
Edric will rifle
bodies
through
is an
pockets.
option. Yes. I don't know if I'm terrible with names. I don't know if the monk can use a longbow at all, but
Oh, you guys are not seeing me.
I cannot. I'm not very well versed in archery.
Merlin can use a longbow.
I'm gonna have to look and see where I.
well, take it. Take a bow, some arrows off the scouts.
So there's 3 longbows to divvy up between everyone.
Yes, there
And
are
how
if you
many
want them. Some of
arrows?
you can use them and some of you can't. I'm gonna have to figure out the the Roll20 has changed, but I'm going to figure out how to make sure that you guys can see each other's your nameplates and your stats. Take a note. I know how it
Should
was
be able
before the
to.
most recent update to the character sheets, but I will figure that out offline.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many arrows do we take off of these people?
You take between the 3 of them, you manage to get. Roll20 is hanging. Adric will rifle through their pockets. They don't have anything particularly of interest. Do they have anything? Oh, actually, they do have. Each of them wears a pendant around their neck of a purple wood. I mean, it does seem to be wood, but it does seem to be purple. And none of you
Well,
are going to
Siegel's definitely
recognize
claiming
that.
What
Siegel
does
will claim one off the dismembered elf.
And you managed to collect a total of 24 arrows among the 3 of them.
so 8 arrows each?
Siegel has a crossbow, so she doesn't really need the longbow, but
Yep.
If I shoot a longbow, I have more chance of shooting you than an enemy.
yeah.
Enigma.
But
You notice,
Oh.
because you're standing back a little bit from the others, a movement catches an eye from the side, and you see an old woman stepping out of the forest into the clearing, wearing a floral print dress. It looks like an old woman, and she's got kind of a mischievous look on her face, sort of a gleam to her face as she comes out. And she actually has behind her, tethered on a leash, is an old man who kind of fits the description of the query. And as she steps forward, she kind of tugs on the leash and it pulls, it sort of jerks him as he sort of stumbles forward. Much strangeness, so much strangeness, and now this. A simple woman of the woods cannot go out for a stroll without encountering strange old men and passing ruffians.
State your identity.
Yes, Giz, you did hear that right. More of a chance to shoot you than an enemy. State my identity. Oh, such a demanding sort. Such a demanding sort. State your identity.
Merlin Belfry, Cleric of Helm.
And I would be Jenny Greenteeth, a simple woman of the forest here.
Can one of you guys smell this woman? See if she got the mist. If she lives in this forest, she's probably got the mist.
Divine Sense is once a day.
Okay, Enigma
Right
will
now,
say it's been less than 10
think.
minutes, so your detect magic is still up, and she's got some magic around her, but it is not the magic of the mist. It looks different.
Oh wait,
Probably tell
I do
them
have 2 more.
that it's not the same.
Yes, it is not the same. You do sense, so the shapes and all around there, you sense some illusion magic going on.
I think I got some for that.
And Adric does not particularly smell anything related to the woman. So she is tugging at this old man on the lead. And so what are you doing in my neighborhood?
We are
I
trying
don't
to
know why
find
you're
them.
letting the Jumpstack Charisma guy take lead, but Merlin will say, yes, please.
I mean,
Go.
Siegel. I was gonna have Siegel stop because she's got some charisma. I think we're tracking that man you have on a leash.
Have you indeed? He has told such interesting stories that kind of fit in with my dreams of the last few days. But what
dreams.
do you wish of him?
He and his family are suspected of thefts in the city of Flan.
Of
No,
thefts. As she turns to
put me in nearby. But
thefts, she says. He says, Merlin's male.
What?
Deku, Merlin is male?
Yes.
I remember to ask your pronouns. I did not remember to ask your character's pronouns. Thefts, he says.
I think
Thefts.
Deagle is the only female character.
I think so. Thefts, he says. Would you steal things? And the old man, as you look at him, he's got kind of a beseeching look. It's like, yes, he's on this lead, and yes, he stumbles as she's coming, as she pulls on it. It's like, but please help. All we want is help. Please help. But he seems to be pleading that of her, of Jenny.
What do you need help with?
T-Rex! Oh, and a T-Rex comes stomping through. No, sorry. That was Giz! You've done this to me, now I have to find a T-Rex.
As long as it doesn't know how to Misty step, we're good.
And it's like a giant cat going stomping through. It'd be an Allosaurus. And a T-Rex randomly goes stomping through and disrupts things around, and then it disappears off the side. Okay. Anyways, sorry.
I know I'm not very good with that magic stuff, but can I try and find out how strong the illusion magic is?
What might you do to try that?
Well, I was trying to go up and trying to mess with her.
To see if she'll
Try and
retaliate?
like
You could do that.
pull her hair, see if some illusion starts
See how solid
showing.
So you're gonna go up to try. Well, Enigma, did you say anything about illusion magic?
I was trying to.
Would Merrick know that? Is Enigma's the one who detected the illusion magic? Did you actually tell your teammates that you've got your party members that
Yeah,
No, all I just stated was it was different.
Different. Okay. So you don't know if it's illusion.
Yeah.
So it's a different kind of magic. That's kind of scary.
Eagle, so I actually do have 3 uses of Divine Sense today. She'll use a second one.
Okay.
Particularly looking at both the lady and the guy.
So Jenny is, even though that's not let's see, you had Celestials, Fiends, or Undeads. I'm going to give you this one. She's strong in Fey. Even though that's not in your spell. And
yeah, Fey's listed a lot of things like that, but not
check. Give me a history check. So history is one that's kind of used for general intelligence type checks. It's frequently used to determine memory. Is something that ability check can be used for. General knowledge, things like that. So for a 10 in history, among the... So would it be common knowledge among corrupt town guards at Flan? So with a 10 in history, Faye strikes you as the quivering, that strikes you as normal for the quivering forest. So she is part of the quivering forest, because the quivering forest is almost like a piece of Faye, is what you would know. It would be common knowledge among the town guards.
So she'll call out to the other, careful, she's a Fae. She's Yeah.
Oh, insightful this one is. I am a fae, and I have been dreaming dark things that have brought me out on the path today to encounter this thing, as she gestures to the old man, and now you lot. What fates, what winds do you bring into my forest?
Uh,
We are just searching for the truth.
The truth. The truth. What might be the truth of the darkness and the mists? What might be the truth of love and lost love? Terrible
Well, you tell
things are
us.
coming. Terrible things are coming, and I don't know what or why. He tells an interesting story about his granddaughter, who has also got visions of terrible things coming and says a great evil is on its way.
May I inquire to the nature of these visions?
The nature of the visions, dreams for me. For her, it's probably, hmm. What sort of visions does your granddaughter have, old man? Please, she says we need help. We want allies. We need powerful allies. It is coming. It is coming. Please help us. I've brought you herbs. Cooking herbs. As if that would be interesting to me with you, with what's in my garden. But please, please, just, anything you want, just please protect us.
Protect you from who?
Great evil that is coming. My granddaughter has seen it.
where is this granddaughter?
I She sent us off on these quests to come back, and when we all group back together, she will come out of hiding to see us. But we need strong allies. Evil is coming.
What do you do to that cook back at the inn?
He starts moving a little. I I gave him a sedative. I gave him some herbs to calm him down so that he wouldn't get in my way. All right. Maybe I
Um,
used a little too much, but but please, there is great evil coming.
can I
Well, what shall I do with you lot?
Can I ask the old man something?
Sure.
Is the Fae an ally? You say you seek strong allies. Is the Fae one of them?
she's she sort of laughs. Am I an ally? Well, he'd wish it to be so. Please help us. Please help us. And he is doing this imploring of her, not of you, of her.
Okay.
He is doing this pleading. Please protect my family. Protect us. You can do this, please. And she gestures like, you see what I have to deal with here. She makes and rolls her eyes a little bit. Well, so what are you wanting to do? So you are here. You are looking for truth. Do you have your truth? What are you doing now?
Well,
I mean, I don't see what what this Fae is gonna do for us. I say we start looking for the other family members.
Jenny, if you give us the old man, we'll take him and leave your woods.
You will take him? And what do I get in exchange for that? That you would just leave? I could make you leave if I wanted to.
you'd have some peace and quiet.
Well, would you
Well,
like
there
to
is
return?
something to that.
Would I be able to charm her into giving him over?
You could certainly attempt to. What have you got? Which ability have you got?
What's under spells?
Charm person.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and cast it. So that is. Oh, it didn't pick up your spell save. Let's see. Wizards are intelligence based. What is your intelligence modifier?
Uh,
So you are looking at the numbers on the left. Let's see, where's we got your character here?
it is 16.
16. So
3.
the modifier to that is 3. So your DC is actually going to be 13. Let's see what Jenny does. And that was a wisdom save?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, she saved, so she is not charmed. So she looks over you.
Hmm.
Nice try.
It
It's
did get
worth
an
attempting.
interesting piece of information, but
What meta knowledge would you use? Meta knowledge?
no. But
And she goes, oh, it's a nice try. She looks the group of you over. But I have had some rather dark dreams. And you say that you are looking for truth.
What you dream of.
Old man, go with them and see if you can find your allies. And she'll drop the lead. And she'll start to turn. Go find your truth. And keep it out of my forest. And she starts walking away.
Siegel will go up, grab the lead, and start heading out of the forest.
Okay. And the old man starts trying to go after the old woman. Oh, please, please, mistress, please help us, help us. And
Good
she
sir,
gives
I
a
do not
disinterested
believe
shrug
it's
and
just
gesture.
Yeah. Siegel's not letting go of the lead and not giving any room to go for it, but just starts walking off and dragging him if she has to.
And he is clearly distressed and he's clearly trying to after it. And um, I just. I mean, great evil is coming. Sybil has seen it, and she knows she has the sight. She can tell these things. It might be too late for us, but maybe it's not too late for us, and maybe we can hold it off with powerful allies.
Can you
What
lead us to her?
Anyone got a spare sock?
Can he lead us to her?
uh, and when he finally takes in sort of defeat and he sort of slumps and well, when the others finish their quests, we might find we'll regroup
What
after, and she will come to us then.
Their
what
quests. So they stole all those things for their little projects.
To try and gain allies. I brought mine. I came to Jenny Greenteeth to try and enlist her aid.
so
I,
you're admitting to taking the things from the people that near the inn.
I took the herbs. I did take herbs. And I assume you guys are walking back down the
Yeah.
trail towards
Yes.
crossing.
Dragging him if necessary, but
At this point, he's looking defeated and slumped, and he'll come along.
What is this evil you seem to be so worried about?
We don't know details. She didn't have any details, but she saw that it's coming in the mist.
Then why did you not just move on?
Well, that's assuming we could outrun it. Maybe it will take up the whole world.
Where have the others gone?
Here and there to various to try and engage allies. You might want
Is
to be
the
a little more
mist
specific.
is the mist magical in origin?
It is evil. Beyond that, I don't know.
Hmm.
So your family took items for the townsfolk. Um, the gems, the weapons. You say they've taken them to find allies. Who are these allies?
Um, well, we went to try and enlist the aid of the orcs at the old keep, and um, and tried to engage aid from the Vanishing Hills, and I just I didn't overhear all of them. I just know what Sybil sent me for.
Having lived in the area, I know what he's talking about, the orcs and the old keep.
Yes. And also, I'll give you time. We'll get back to the crossing in at the bridge, and that is where I'm going to close it tonight. We're going to continue on with this next week. Now, between now and next week, the homework I'm going to give for you is to actually read through your character sheets, read through your abilities, any spells you have. Start getting familiar with that now that you've had a little taste of social interactions, and you say, "Oh, thank you for the follow, Clariosa." And a little bit of the ability and how combat works. You've had a little bit of a taste of that now, so it'll be a little bit easier, a little more meaningful to read it. And feel free to ask questions in Discord. Amadorn and Amy and I can help answer any sort of questions that you have there. And next week, we're going to actually try and use, we'll play, we'll probably do go after two more of the family members
No, ma'am.
and use some of the abilities, and then at the end of that, at the end of next week, we will learn about how to level up a character. Okay?
Sounds fun.
Great.
So
Okay.
thank you, and thank you to the viewers who are there. We are working on teaching some peeps of ours how to play Dungeons and Dragons, and yeah, we are using the Wizards of the Coast Adventurers League Season 4, Misty Fortunes and Absent Hearts, in order to learn this. So tune in again. And I am actually going to let me shift over the scene here. the play screen from it. Thank you for saying that, Gloriosa. That scene has my mic muted. Yes, it does. Okay, we're going to go back up a little bit on the thank yous. I'm going to thank Amadorn and Amy for helping me mentor our newbies here. And thank you to Tom, Enigma, and Deku for taking this step into learning. Yeah. Well, this is like a session 0 first session, and I don't have everything all sorted out.
Thank you, Karis, for running.
Oh, thank you,
Yep.
thank you. And thank you
Thanks for
to
hosting.
those of you who are watching here. Someone started to say something. Please go ahead.
I said, thanks for hosting.
Yeah. And I believe the playlist for this will be available both on my own YouTube channel and on the Dirty 20 Gaming YouTube channel. And like I said, next week I will have the Dirty 20 Gaming link to put there. And as is usual, thank you to anybody who's watching this in the future on YouTube. And if you got this far, please hit the like button because we'll assume you did. And until next
And
time,
subscribe.
and subscribe. And until next time, please be nice to each other. How many more sessions till I get to the troll player training? The troll player training. What troll player training, Giz? Go
Yeah,
adventuring
I don't
fools,
need
Giz.
any training on that.
Trolls. I don't think there are any trolls in this particular one, unless you guys want to play trolls. Anyways, we will get more into that as we continue learning how to play Dungeons and Dragons. So until next time, please be nice to each other. And good night.
Good night.